How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Kai here. Today I'm bringing you a brand new type of video, brand new series. This is going to be the Arsenal or football discussion. We haven't got a name yet, but this is basically where we're going to go week by week, looking at Arsenal, of course, the club that I support, and of course my guest here, he supports Arsenal as well. But basically, yeah, we're going to go week by week, game by game. We're going to discuss, obviously, what's going on in the world of Arsenal, in and around the club, in the news, on the pitch, everything good to bad. And we're going to give our honest opinions and where we think the season's going to go. But of course, as I said, I've got a guest, and you heard his voice there saying hello. So I've got Mr. Alistair Woods returning for the first time in probably about 8 months on this channel. How are you doing, Alistair?
Um,
Sorry,
feels
say that
like
again.
feels like it was just yesterday, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, cool. We're gonna jump straight into this. Obviously, I hope you just said you're doing well. Like Mike kind of buffered a little, but But yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna
good.
jump straight
Yeah,
into
sorry.
this.
I'm on the Dodge hype today.
Yeah, it's fine.
Lots of good
This
cable coming in on
is
Tuesdays.
no, it's fine. This has been discussed after the Newcastle game, first game of the season, on the 11th of August. Usually we will do these before matches and everything, so it can be a couple of days where we predict the lineup or whatnot. But obviously we can't do a predicted lineup for the game today because it's done. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to jump straight into pre-season. So overall, Ali, what did you make of pre-season? Like,
Uh, like pre-season overall, I think it was quite good from uh, I guess from a fundamental basis. Obviously we saw um Socrates and Chambers play out throughout pre-season, and obviously I think where we just played today, obviously where Socrates and Chambers played a full 90 minutes, like especially I guess a lot of those errors in pre-season was always down to one man, and thankfully it hasn't affected us today. So it was all beneficial that the partnership of Socrates and Chambers is actually working, and it seems to be working so far into this season. So yeah,
well,
that's my
yeah,
thoughts.
Obviously we obviously got Rob Holding, Hector Bellerin, and of course brand new signing Kieran Tierney, ready to come back into the defence. So obviously the defence that we're going to be seeing at the moment and throughout pre-season will not be the defence in say like a month's time, when everyone is fully back.
Yeah,
So obviously overall in pre-season, I think the defence looked a bit shaky. It looked to be like we're picking up where we left off from the season, and it seems
yeah,
like it seemed like throughout pre-season. Obviously, we cannot speak on today because we didn't concede, thank God. But the way in
yeah,
which pre-season was like, we'd score, we'd look comfortable, but the moment we conceded, we capitulated, and anything that anyone was
yeah,
doing flew out the window. For examples, the Barcelona game, Maitland Niles had a spectacular game and whatnot, like playing brilliant first half, second half scores an own goal, his head drops. And the whole entire defence, as soon as we concede, pressure's on us and we completely get dominated and everything. But as I said, the
yeah,
defence we're seeing now or then won't be the same defence in a month's time. So,
yeah. Exactly. It's-
overall, new
mm,
additions. I know you're excited, and it's something to
Yeah.
talk about. What
Oh
did
yeah,
you?
of course.
Who's impressed you the most in pre-season? Then, before we go on to new additions, who's impressed you?
Pre-season.
Like,
Pre-season, I have to say probably Joe Willock amongst everyone, because I think at least yeah, we had Reece Nelson perform, especially towards the end of pre-season. Obviously, I think it was just uh probably might have watched a couple of AFTVs, but I think it was what's pre-season going on, and then obviously oh, Reece Nelson, he's not doing it for me. As soon as that happens, man's on it.
so basically, what I'm
So
hearing here is that you're saying it's down to troops because I know what one you're on about.
Yeah,
Troop saying that he's not
it's down to
performing and he
troops
starts
to get
performing.
our boys to rally up.
Fair enough. Obviously,
Like they're not,
speaking.
they like.
No, go on,
Sorry.
finish. No, finish what you're saying. Finish what you're saying.
Is it yeah? Because it's just like, oh yeah, is it? Are they listening to Emery? No, it's all down to troops, mate. Just like Freddie Lundberg. What's he's taking advice from him.
Obviously, speaking on
So
pre-season, and obviously you said Joe Willock's impressed you the most and everything. And I would fully have to agree. Like when he first came in under Wenger, and this isn't a bash at Wenger. This was just obviously down to Willock's development. He looked weak. He didn't look like he was ready and everything. He came in throughout the course of last season and he started to look ready. And I think
mm,
this preseason he's totally showing. He showed in the Europa League final as well when he come on. And obviously I don't want to talk about that too much because the tears and drama that came out of that. But when he come on, he should have scored. And he looked like he was
mm,
pushing Chelsea and everything. And he gave us a different dimension. And that's something that I totally think he's showing in pre-season, and obviously today in the first game of the season we'll get onto that in a minute and how he played, but he's definitely showing he's pushing for that first team spot. And after so much space has been freed up from people like Rambo and over the years Cazorla, Wilshere, Coquelin, everyone who's leaving, we need not just home growth, but we need
yeah,
someone who's going to come in and be like, no, this is mine, this is going to be a new Arsenal, a new me, like type thing.
yeah, exactly. I think yeah, definitely the way that Emery has set out the team, hard working, um, and to also back on the defense, which I think Joe Willock, especially pre-season and um, in this game especially against Newcastle, he wasn't he just didn't want to be another Mesut Ozil providing all the attacking play but nothing going backwards. So I think he's definitely looking at what we were lacking last year, and I think he's he's trying to fill in that void that Ozil might not have done.
Yeah.
Uh, but overall, I think yeah, consistent through preseason and consistent through today. So it's a bright future, especially for Joe.
Well, the future is bright of Arsenal, and obviously we're gonna move on to signings in a second, but let's go on to a little bit less of a happier note, and a guy that I know me and you both hate to talk about as much as we talk about Spurs, but Stan Kroenke. Of course, throughout preseason we had the positives of the signings late on, but the preseason didn't start well because it started off with protests and sort of like a rebellion against the Kroenke family and the owners, and fans were really starting to let their opinions known. Not from the kit launch. I don't think that protest was really big because it was a group of like 18 people outside the stadium as everyone's walking out of brand new Adidas kits or whatnot. But I think the
Yeah,
protest that really hit was the We Care Do You that came out during
yeah,
our American tour when we first played. Was it Colorado? I think it was.
yeah, exactly. It was Stan Kroenke's home team. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So obviously, I wanted to get your views on that, like, and what you think of that protest, and if you really think, well, two fronts, really think that one, has it made a difference? Like, has that forced their hand to spend money? And two, obviously, after you say your opinion, does this change our views on Stan Kroenke now? Because he's seamlessly has delivered on some signings finally
yeah.
for once. So,
I think I think on Stan Kroenke, I think it. Some people are already saying in Kroenke we trust, and to be perfectly honest, I think that's almost it could be almost shifted too quickly for people to say that too soon, because obviously we don't actually know where this 155 million came from to spend on six new signings, and it's like you can't determine is it all Kroenke, because bear in mind like a few years back even Gazidis was coming out saying we can sign Cristiano Ronaldo if we wanted. So it's just like we don't know, is that the money that Ronaldo is that could have been spent on Ronaldo has been put into this year, or is it just because the 45 mil, we could tell. I think is whether so many reports were saying Arsenal's budget 45 mil, and obviously nothing from Arsenal themselves. So clearly, and obviously when you got that, when Sinelli and Edu came on to that little fans conference, they said our budget isn't 45 mil. It's definitely reduced, but it's not 45 mil. So it's like, what do you do? Like, you don't get Manchester City's budget at the end of every year, but you definitely know that they've got a lot of money. And to say, oh yeah, we can't afford Harry Maguire, that's a little bit like, that's, is it true? Is it not? Or is it just like Man United being stupid enough to pay it? So it's like, what do who do you believe in this scenario? So yeah, that's my view. What do you think?
Yeah, I fully agree with what you're saying. Like, the club's never gonna full stop at the end of a season say, all right, we've got 200 million to spend, because then clubs are gonna up their prices. So in a way, part of me, there's two theories to this. My part of me believes we genuinely did have 45 mil, and Edu and everyone looked at it and was like, no, like, we need to approach Stan and be like, bro, we need some extra funds. These fans are turning. Yes, you're not going to sell, but we need something. But then another part of me does think we know Raul Sanelli's a tactical player in the market. We know he twists words and twists minds to try and force a move for a client. Look at 10 years ago or so with Cesc Fabregas. When Raul was working at Barca, I'm 100% convinced that Raul Sanelli was the one that told the Spanish players after the World Cup to put a fucking Barcelona shirt on Cesc Fabregas and everything, and to try and convince him. 100% convinced. Because you look at the way in which Raul's played this market, he's tried to make people believe that we put a 40 million bid in for Zaha. That may be real, that may not be real, we never know. But we knew at the time 40 mil was not going to get Zaha. But out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, David Orenstein, the god himself, as Arsenal fans like to call him, predicted Arsenal transfers. He came out and said Arsenal were not getting Pepe. A week later, we signed Pepe. So clearly there has been something in place throughout all this. And obviously, as you said, Edu coming on, that's attracted people like Martinelli and David Luiz, which we'll get onto in a sec. But obviously, overall, do you think, as I said before, do you think the fans' protest forced their hand and sort of made them spend, or do you think the signings were put into place months ago and it's just taken a while for deals to come through?
Yeah, I think it may be a bit of that for your second point. They've just operated behind the scenes, because obviously when things go public, as for the Pepe thing, it literally came out of the blue. Arsenal close to signing Pepe after agreeing 72 million fee, and it's like, wait, what?
Legit.
So and even with Martinelli, there was links, but it literally came out of the blue, and I guess the only thing that the media did predict was Tierney, and probably a glimpse of I'm thinking of the
Saliba.
Saliba, yeah, and obviously where the media were like, oh yeah, they would we're slightly confident on this, but that's 2 out of 6 signings. And David Luiz was literally out of the blue after we realised Upamecano is going to be a little bit more difficult to sign. So then we just thought, oh, David Luiz, oh sorry, Chelsea, is that 8 million that we only have to pay? Yeah, bro. It's just like, all right, we'll take out 8 mil out of that 45 million budget.
Yeah.
And just give it straight to him. So I think, yeah, it's sort of like a lot of these deals must have been operated in the dark. Obviously, as we know, Sinelli he likes to put that focus off out of the public, but he likes to make clubs unsettled, as we did see with Zaha and Palace. That 40 mil bid, they knew that was going to get rejected, but it was just like, let's just make things difficult for them for no particular reason. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think definitely he's pulled one out of the bag with all these signings. So I think
Yeah,
so
Don Raul,
either
as
they
the
are
fans are calling him now.
yeah, right, the new Raul. So yeah,
Um,
so I think yeah, it's definitely he's definitely whether they've been operated out in the open or dark, he's definitely done us a big favour.
so obviously overall, do you like? I agree with what you said there. Like there must have been deals in place, but do you like? Obviously, I'm going back to that point. Do you think the fans' voice has actually had an impact, or do you think us still as Arsenal fans we haven't got like a voice towards the club, like the connection between the club? Like there is connection there. Like obviously you sit with Uber and Laka with the fans. They communicate with the fans on the like weekly, basically having a bit of banter on Instagram and whatnot and everything like that. But with the club ourselves and obviously with the protest, do you think our voices were heard, or do you think they just kind of like brushed us off and was like, we still got stuff, we got stuff ready, like you know?
Yeah, I think I think definitely with the club, um, how voices were heard. Obviously, they realised that the Arsenal fan base is annoyed. But if they knew already, look, we've already got signings in play. We don't need to take focus on this because obviously at the end of the day, as it's seen on deadline day, only a couple of days beforehand, me and you were getting nervous. Oh, are these deals getting done? Are we gonna go in with the centre back? As long as it is from the board, they already know if we get someone by deadline day, all of this isn't gonna matter there and then. So it's literally just a patience test, and
Yeah.
luckily it paid off. So I think overall the fans' voice was heard, but I wouldn't imagine that it made a huge impact on what was going on behind the scenes.
Fair enough.
But
Obviously now,
so
so
yeah,
with the business that we've done, obviously we're moving into signings now. With the business that we've done, are you happy with it? Like, obviously, we'll run through the few of the signings now, or all of the signings, should I say. We signed 6 players. Saliba, Tierney, Luis, Martinelli, Capellos, sorry if I butcher that name, and who's the other one? Pepe. How can I forget Pepe?
Pepe, yeah.
Our new club record signing, obviously, 72 million paid over a few seasons. Like, we sit like we seem to be the only club that gets called out for doing bit by bit deals, like pay season by season and everything. When every club does it, we're the only one though that gets called out by the media. But overall, how do you feel on these 6 signings? Are you happy with them? Do you wish we got more, or do you think this is good enough for now?
I think definitely with all the signings that we've got, I think we've gone out and we've got everyone that we need. I think I guess there was one worry that in that Louise was got literally last minute. Um, so I definitely think that we could have at least tried. Maybe whether would we have preferred Upamecano to Pepe? Maybe. I guess it would have been a fan's reaction like, well, is it needed or is it? It's definitely like a bit up in the air whether how we would have responded to that.
Yeah,
Um, but I think overall our overall business in the market was really good. That we got the players that we needed.
like
Um,
we said
David
it.
Luiz may
Sorry, go
not
on.
be the signing that we want.
Yeah,
David Luiz may not be the signing that we wanted initially, but it's a signing that we could be happy with.
yeah.
Um, so yeah,
No, obviously,
that's what I think of.
when Emery first came in, we said it was going to take us 2 to 3 windows to basically rebuild this squad because it was Wenger's players, it was Wenger's like signings that he's made. There's a lot of deadwood, and there's still a lot of deadwood to get out. Which obviously we got like 4 weeks left of the European window, and hopefully a generous club can come and take the deadwood and everything that we've got
Yeah,
left in certain players, which we'll get into in a minute. But overall, I think the window was positive. Obviously, as I said, it's going to take us 2 to 3 windows to basically get a squad where Emery can start pushing us forward. Like, obviously, yes, we want to see improvement season in, season out, but I don't think based off of these 2 summers that we've done. But let's not include January. Dennis Suarez on a loan, just one player, which didn't work out. That's not a window that I want to remember. But over the two
Yeah.
summers and the signings that he's done, you can really say out of all of them, the only one that hasn't worked is Lichtsteiner and everything, which obviously he's gone now as well. But overall,
Yeah.
you need to think he's in the 2 windows. He's really basically tried to redo the spine of the team. If we go back to last summer, brand new keeper, Bernd Leno, brought in Socrates,
Yeah.
brought in Lucas Torreira, our little Uruguayan magician who made Troy Deeney cry.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's a few more
Yeah.
there, like, fuck it, and I forgot his name, Guendouzi. But obviously this summer he's tried to address the spine again with, the departure of Ramsey and getting Cabellos, and obviously the future centre back of Saliba, who's obviously gone back on loan, which, it's good for him to continue his development, but obviously would want it more. David Luiz,
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney, it all sort of
Yeah.
tries to stick to the spine.
Yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, definitely he's addressed the areas that needed addressing, and I think definitely with the way that we're moving forward, it's
Yeah,
not signings that it's not individual signings. If we need strengthening in that one area, we're going to strengthen that in one area. If it, but probably last year, I could have imagined, Kolasinac, even under Wenger, if Kolasinac's our left back, we'll stick with Kolasinac. We're trying to improve with Kieran Tierney and with all these other different signings. We're trying to improve this team to be the best it can. So I think it's a good method going forward, because now it's not coached by one man. It's a whole technical director going, um, implementing the style what we want,
yeah,
and so
totally.
that we can move forward. But yeah, that's what I think. Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that's overall like on our signings. So yeah, what do
Yeah.
you think?
What do I think? I think that, you said it about the whole, we shouldn't sign Pepe and get Upamecano thing. I think the Upamecano thing was delayed and left to last minute because of the whole Koscielny incident, which obviously something we'll sadly have to discuss in a second. But, I think Upamecano is really a target for next summer. I think the David Luiz thing was left last minute because of the Koscielny thing. I think we were always interested in a centre half, but it depended on if Mustafi could go, if Koscielny could go, and when or who you need. Because you made a good point when we signed David Luiz that we need experience. We need someone who knows the Premier League. We need someone who knows how to win a title in this league. Because let's be honest, it's been 2-3 years now since we last won a trophy. We need to get back on that winning grind before someone starts trying to count down the days or whatnot again, since Arsenal last won a title and everything. We don't want another 10-year drought. So, you know,
Yeah,
the whole shouldn't sign Saliba, get Upamecano thing, I think that's nonsense, because we needed width. And to be honest, you're looking at this day and age in the market, signing someone for like Upamecano, not Upamecano, you sign Pepe for a fee of 70 odd million. That's kind of a steal in today's market when you see people like Griezmann and Mbappe and whatnot going for like 100, 150, 200 million. I think it's kind of a steal,
yeah,
because the thing is, the guy is still only like 24, so he's got time to develop and improve. So if a big club does come knocking on the door someday, we said it earlier in the season, obviously not on a podcast
almost.
or a discussion on anything, we need assets. Not like, this isn't me looking at it like a business thing where, we need to sell him if he improves. Like, no way, I want him to stay if he plays well, like all great players. But at the end of the day, if it comes push comes to shove in like 3 years' time and he wants to leave, his value's no doubt going to be more than 70 million. So,
Yeah.
we're starting to get people with value. And as I said, I think the Upamecano thing will be something that we will go back to look at either in January or if not the end of the season. Because as me and you discussed many a times, the guy's got a year left on his contract next season. And, it's the same thing as Saliba, which me and you discussed about as well, where you have to buy them before the big clubs do. Even if you're paying that high price, you need to get them before 2-3 years down the line. A big club's come in and, say like a City or a Barcelona or someone like that, they're paying 150, 200 million. Like you said, Maguire, 80 million. That's a fucking ridiculous fee just because he's English. But yet, Upamecano is pretty much the same price. And on paper, Upamecano's had more sort of like European experience. So I would take Upamecano over Maguire any day on that front. But
Yeah.
nah,
I think definitely make a because obviously we talked about it like obviously with Arsenal had especially how they operated in the past. We weren't really that kind of team that would just make signing for the sake of the signing, so to speak. I think Wayne Gorey said we're always covered in that position, and we're not looking to improve. But obviously this year we could be in a position where we've signed a whole back four in Emery's possible third season, and it's like and when we already have cover in that position, it's like I think he's finally coming to. He realised last year we need depth.
yeah,
Yeah, and especially even if we're making like the Upamecano signing, when we do, we're gonna have Saliba, Chambers, Rob, him. That's 4 players. Even if Mustafi stays on, that's 5.
oh, God,
And
please
if-
no.
Of
Yeah,
and Socrates 6. So it's already like you might as well have.
you think
cover in that
Nacho could play
position
centre
if
half
you
as well?
see- Yeah, like to probably set the same standard as Mustafi, but like it's. But I think it's good that we're finally in that position. If we do get Upamecano, we're finally in that position where if one centre back gets injured, it's not going to be a Gabriel Palista and Koscielny pairing. It's going
Yeah.
to be solid. Whoever gets
Experience.
injured,
Yeah,
someone is almost already there to be in. We're not going to have these signings. If we sell someone, we don't necessarily need to replace them.
yeah,
And that's where top sides operate. That's why like Man City, we're not gonna think on getting anyone left wing for January. We've already got Mahrez, so it's like that's the cover I think Emery is working to build on, and
Yeah.
especially like where we need to be, because clearly our fitness is just as good as a dog chewing on a stick. It's going to be dirty. It's not going to be nice.
yeah. I see what you mean. Moving on to the Mustafi thing. Obviously, me and you, obviously from anyone who just listens can tell, we're not really... We're behind him, but we're not wanting him to play or stay in that matter. Like, obviously, I just wanted to get your views on it. Obviously, throughout preseason, we known... It's been well known since way before end of last season. He wasn't in Emery's plans. When the defence was falling apart, he'd rather play Nacho at centre-half than him and everything like that. We know he's not wanted. We know Emery wants him out. We know he causes errors. But obviously, I don't condone, because fans don't like him, I don't condone the booing. I don't condone that. As long as he's in your shirt, you respect him and you try and help him. If he's verbally come out and abused the fans or the club, then yeah, boo him. But at this point in time, he hasn't yes, his performance has been bad, but he hasn't done anything to disrespect the club. So I don't agree with the booing, and obviously
Yeah,
I just wanted to know your views on that. Like, that was a really weird and hostile moment because it was out in America, it started, and it was kind of like, okay, maybe it's just, and this isn't me blaming the foreign fans, but maybe it's just, foreign fans' point of view, like, they know he's bad. But then to see it at the Emirates during the Emirates Cup, and even Barcelona away when he come on, like, he was still getting booed and haggled, and it's like the guy hasn't even kicked a ball yet. So obviously,
yeah.
do you think that's deserved, or do you think that's point blank out of order from the fans who were doing it?
I think I think I'm definitely like the booing on the pitch. That is a little bit like yeah. It's in. I wouldn't say that it's deserved, but it's definitely not. I wouldn't say that it's deserved, but I definitely think that it's not deserved in the fact that he deserves to be booed there on the pitch. Slate him afterwards. If he's made a mistake after on a game, make sure that he knows that he made that mistake. Make sure that he knows that when Zaha is behind him, you don't wait for your keeper to come out. You pass it back to him. Let him know that you were the guy that messed that up. And we all know probably Emery is as harsh as critic as anyone when they get in that dressing room, because obviously he's almost by definitely by the looks of it last year he almost excluded by the looks of it Ozil, and to a right extent, but I think um with the way that we booed him initially,
Yeah.
I definitely think that is a little bit undeserved.
Is there a way back for Mustafi, or do you think no, this is done, nail in the coffin type thing? Even if he stays, like you see the next window, do you think he's gone, or do you think there is an actual way for him to stay and earn the trust back, or do you think at this point, for both parties, for him himself and his career and his confidence, and us as a club and wanting to move forward, do you think it's the right thing to just let him go at this stage, like to seriously just move on type thing? Or do you think there is actually a
I, th-
redemption arc that he can do at some stage? Like,
I think I definitely think that is it's the story of any centre back. Actually, now that you think about it, if they get off to a rough start, if you're if undeniably if you confirm yourself to be untrusting, and when you make so many errors, you're always going to have that back in line. No matter how many games, let's say Mustafi goes on a run of 15 games where he does absolutely nothing wrong, where the stats compared to Van Dijk, he's now actually able to replicate those stats and without any other additional um, faults. You still, after those 15 games, he's still going to be deemed on like not reliable enough. But I think there's still a way for him to come back, and obviously, if he comes back, he's not being in the first team. It was the same. It was the same last year, actually, or a couple of years ago. I told you about this, like with Eliquim Mangala,
oh, at City.
and yeah, yeah, and Man City, and obviously,
Well, he's still contracted then,
where I
isn't he?
think
He's still there.
I'm not actually too sure because it obviously must have been. Is it a fourth season now? Fifth?
I don't know, because he was signed underneath Pellegrini, wasn't he? For quite a hefty
Yeah,
fee and everything like that.
yeah, I
I
think it
don't
was.
know.
But I think
No, but sorry, finish
definitely
your
after.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think it's definitely with Mangala after realizing Jesus Christ, this guy is not any good. He can't do anything right by the looks of it. And now, where Pep Guardiola he came in, he saw Mangala in a dead wood, but at the times that he started, weirdly enough, like that he actually did sometimes in Pep's team, didn't look. all too bad. And like it was just, I think it was like, it might have been the odd game against Stoke or this, that and the other.
Yeah,
But it was just like he doesn't look as bad as some people think. And
yeah,
like I
but
think, and obviously,
we've sorry, go on. Yeah,
no, yeah, and obviously it's just like, yeah, but because he doesn't look too bad because he's not playing so much. Like, because he's not playing week in, week out. He's played on the, like, once every 2 months, or like 1 month, or it's just
yeah,
it's inconsistent. Um, and it's in that own right where, um I think, where he's sort of a little bit redeemed himself, but he hasn't like fully redeemed himself.
yeah. Like obviously we've spoken about it before with the whole factor of trying to think of my point now. Like with Mustafi, with any centre back at Arsenal over the years, if they haven't played next to, obviously his name is going to come up, but if they haven't played next to Koscielny, they haven't been good. And we've spoken about this, like in a back line, you need good partners to make you either play better because you connect better with them, or you're that bad that they make you look like Varane
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And obviously over the years, that's what I've sort of thought. When Mustafi first came in, we obviously went on that long game run where him and Koscielny were like one of the best partnerships we had in a while and everything. Then he got injured, he come back, and he was just never was the same. It was as if we said it at the time, the term Wengerized. Like it's suddenly from the injury and coming back, he turned from Mustafi, the Mustafi that we saw, and the Valencia Mustafi, into Squillaci and everything. And it was just he never seemed to recover from that. Like, and ever since then, it's just been a downward spiral. But in my point of view, I feel like in a way, as you said, the not the abuse, but the criticism is deserved. The abuse isn't. If you're gonna tell a guy that he's done bad, tell him. Don't rip into him and shatter his confidence that is already destroyed as it is. In a way, I think he has become a scapegoat of the club.
Yeah.
Like everyone has that one player in the club where they always blame and hate and whatnot. But I feel like the most, no matter what he does, he's just going to get slated. Even if he was to score a 45-yard banger, someone's still going to say, well, you know, he fell over and everything. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
and I feel like for the club at the moment, if we can't offload him, then keep him for the season. But I genuinely do think for all parties, ourselves and him, like him in his career, he needs to find somewhere else. Like, and that's not in the disrespectful way. Somewhere where it's a fresh start, it's a fresh mentality, fresh surroundings. It's a similar thing with Iwobi, which we'll get onto in a minute as well. Is like once the fans turn on you,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like they've got any confidence and everything. So yeah, obviously that's what's happening with Mustafi. I just wanted your point of views on it, but now let's move on to more of the sort of like conversation about outgoings. And obviously this is one that me and you have been calling for years to happen, but now that it's sort of happened, I know we're both kind of mixed point of views on it. But obviously Alex Iwobi leaving for 35 mil to Everton, wasn't it, or something on deadline day? So
Yeah, 35, close to 40. So
yeah, obviously, what's your point of views on that? Like,
well, I think it will be like, I feel like it was a move that he needed, especially with like with Reece Nelson coming through and Smith Rowe and all the youth that was backed up in that position already. It was already in the script for him to move on. But I sort of, now looking back on it and sort of like realizing Mkhitaryan is in the team. I'm pretty sure every single Arsenal fan is like, why can we get rid of Mkhitaryan? Not Iwobi, and the simple answer is just that Mkhitaryan isn't as good as Iwobi, and hence why Everton paid 40 mil for Iwobi, not Mkhitaryan. So it's just like, it's almost like it was one that needed to be made, but wasn't the one that you wanted, sort of thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
totally see what you mean. Like, you don't want it to happen because he's one of our own. He's been here since like the age of 9. He's come through the academy, everything like that. Back in the Highbury days, he was here
yeah,
and everything. And we've always wanted Iwobi to shine. And me and you have this discussion all the time. Not bad discussion, like we're not at each other's throats. We have the discussion of he's Lionel Messi when he takes on players, but when he gets in front of goal, he becomes complacent. He has no sort of end product and everything. It's kind of a similar thing that happened
yeah,
with Theo Walcott back in the day. He would have everything up until the final third, and then he would either score or not score. But the only difference with Iwobi is that he doesn't score, while Theo did. But
yeah,
obviously, I think the question also begs whether or not Iwobi wants to change position. Because no matter what position he chooses now, or gets told by the manager, I need you to play here, we're covered. As you said, like Reece, Saka, Smith Rowe, they can all play wide. Obviously,
yeah,
Pepe's come in, Mickey's here. So that's a lot of depth and a lot of competition. Because we knew the moment Pepe signed, Iwobi weren't going to be starting. He'd be on bench. But then also,
yeah,
you need to
yeah.
think as well,
It's
he wants to play in the number 10 role.
mm.
And
It's
that ain't going to happen while Mezzet's here. Like,
and then especially I think Caballos almost instantly like shut up shop because like with that position because obviously Caballos is a replacement for Ramsey and if you were going to start, is it going to be Rambo at cam or Wobie at cam? Every single Arsenal fan and the manager would just say Rambo because he was undoubtedly the best player in that position that he's now talking about. It's going to make me cry, but um,
yeah.
so but it's just like now that like I admire Iwobi for like I want to be in that number 10 role, but it's just like you're not you're not that player, and I don't think he wouldn't have the impact that everyone would want him to do that
Yeah.
under Ramsey because he's not the kind of guy to get himself in positions in front of goal. He's not that.
He's more of a flair player than a goal scorer. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what we need at the moment. We need more goals from wide players. We need more goals
Definitely.
from midfield as well. Like Uber carried us last season with what was it, like 31 goals in all competitions, 22
Yeah.
in the Premier League,
Too.
and
Yeah.
everything. The only player that was close enough to him in the Premier League was Laka with 13. But then again, Laka was assisting most of the goals to Uber. I
Mm.
think with Iwobi, it's a case of the same thing that we just said about Mustafi, about it's good for all parties. He needed he needs to go develop. He needs to a change of environment. He needs to go into a team where he knows he's going to play.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
Or at least be the main man in that team.
yeah, yeah, precisely, main man. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, because at Arsenal, he's not going to be that main guy when we just spunked 72 million on Pepe. We got Uber, Laka, Ozil. You're not going to get in. As much as I think, you know my thoughts on Ozil. Like, 1 minute I'll love him, next minute it's, nah, let's start looking at getting rid of him. But as long as you've got these high wage players
Yeah.
that no one's going to want to buy, you aren't going to make it unless you're kicking the door down. And at the moment, I don't think Iwobi's kicking the door down. I think he's knocking and Emery's replying, but he's not really making his presence known. Like, this is my spot. This is my team. I'm playing. Like,
Yeah.
but overall in his time at Arsenal, I think he gave everything. It is sad to go. I was hoping there was some sort of like buyback clause because I genuinely do feel like Iwobi will be a big part of Everton and will improve. And if they can unlock his, final third, like scoring, then
Mm.
Jesus Christ, have they signed one hell of a player. Like, and that isn't just bigging him
Yeah.
up and being biased.
Yeah. It's almost the exact same scenario with Sterling. In fact, just before he signed for City, and like his first like full season in City before Pep Guardiola came in, it's like he was skipping past players. Obviously, Iwobi and Sterling completely different, like
Levels.
physicality wise, yeah, physicality and levels wise, but it's the same sort of player that they possess. They'll take on players. But the one big difference is that Sterling finishes the chances that he now takes.
Yeah.
It's the hat trick,
Yeah.
and 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 Iwobi just doesn't do that. He'll pass it in, but he's never on the, yeah. And if he's on the end of anything, he'll need two attempts for it to go in the net.
He'll
So it's
have
like,
one good game against Chelsea every season, and then that's it. But obviously, I think the way in which Iwobi left, I think is a positive thing. I think a lot of fans now regret sort of giving him the sort of stick that they did, because obviously I think he was close to being booed like Mustafi, but I think he only didn't get booed because he was one of our own and he was us. He's Arsenal through and through.
yeah,
But obviously, he left on good terms. If you saw his post or whatnot, like he was thanking for the time and everything, and he really loved his time here. And I think for him, he knows, time is up, and he needs a change. But
yeah,
overall, I think it's a positive note, and he will be missed. But it's now down to, fall down to the shoulders of Reece and Saka and Smith Rowe and all these other players to step up now. They're getting their chance, and hopefully they can. Like, I wish Iwobi all the best. I hope he doesn't score against us. But besides that, I hope he takes Everton to big things, and I hope he has some good shit in his career coming up. Like,
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, Arsenal third, Everton fourth.
yeah, yeah. All right.
Theo Walcott with 15 goals and
Oh my god, if
with
Theo
15
got
assists.
15
Anyway,
goals,
go on.
Jesus. I love Theo to bits as well, you know that. So seeing Theo get 15 goals,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'll be happy. But as long as they're not against Arsenal, if they're against Tottenham, then sure. Um,
Yeah.
so we're going from a player who, in both our retrospects, will be remembered and loved and whatnot, and now we're moving to a very controversial one, and you know who I'm about to say, and Laurent Koscielny, boss, Kosh the boss, 9 years of service, captain of the Arsenal last season, of this great club, to suddenly out of nowhere, seamlessly throw his toys out of the pram and force a move not to Barcelona, not to Bayern Munich, but to Bordeaux for 5 million reported fee. And I know me and you love Koscielny to bits, and I just want to know your point of view on this, because obviously there was that video as well of him taking off the old Arsenal shirt and sort of like tossing it to the side and wearing a Bordeaux shirt underneath. So I just wanted to know
Yeah.
your point of views on this. Is he disrespectful? Has he tarnished his legacy? Would you ever accept him back as a coaching role? Like, you know?
And see, it's a little bit controversial. Like, the thing is, with Koscielny, like, time after time, I think, time after time, it was, I felt sorry for him. Like, with all the centre backs he's actually had to play with. And, like, obviously, starting off his career, Scalacci was there. And that's not doing you any favors. You're not coming on. You're not
Yeah.
going into this Man United
Squillaci,
team where-
Giroud, Vermaelen,
Yeah,
Gabriel,
it's just like you're
Mertz.
not. Yeah, it's like you're not doing yourself any favors when you're getting pairings like that, and then and surprisingly enough, it suddenly all changed at Mustafi because you found you found this pairing that wasn't had that didn't, by the looks of it, that didn't have the decision making or or communication problems as Gabriel, but then you didn't have the pace of Mertesacker next to you. So when the pair looked together, obviously they looked incredible. Like I think obviously in that 3 month period, Mustafi gets injured, comes back, 3-3 Bournemouth, where we went 3-0 down, and then everything's downhill from there. But like during that period, especially before Mustafi, it was always me and you would always say, I'm not sure whether I'm not sure actually we even knew each other, but like during Mustafi, during the Mertesacker and the Gabriel days, but it was like it was a nightmare to watch. Wasn't it? It was just like
Yeah.
because like just seeing him do everything right, and then the pair on his other side do so much wrong, and then it's like, what? Like bless the guy because if it because if it was a three back or if it was a one, could he just face everyone on that team and he'll probably still push through it, but it was just like so I felt like the legacy could have been so much better if he had Mustafi 7 years earlier or something like that. But inevitably, and what people I think what people have remembered and sort of said, oh, Koscielny, he's every single time that he was injured, we stuck up for you because where you started to fade away. But the thing is, he was quality before his legs started to go, and as you said, the player is so dedicated to Arsenal. He was playing through an injury and still looking like half competent, and still looking like the player that he kind of was, and obviously you saw progressively over time, and I think last year was the biggest impact because when it realised they're going to be playing in another Europa League, he can't keep up that physicality of like 2 games every week. And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, Jesus Christ, I would be, because if I gave it that mile over that period, and then to work even harder, it would be like, Jesus Christ, like I'm not, I ain't Superman, so
Like,
I think
finish
feel
what you're
like
saying.
more people have, I feel like more people have like taken what he's done for the past 2 years and especially just disregarded a lot of what he'd done before. But I guess in the overall point of view, like the way that he did leave, it was disrespectful. He couldn't do it in any other way. He only had a year off in his contract. He could have either he didn't need to chuck his toys out of the pram. I'm pretty sure if he said to them, I'm not sure if I can do this again another year. Could we possibly operate a maneuver out, and it would have gone down a lot better. But
So
clearly it's just gone down the way it is, and
yeah,
and people have judged him for it.
like here's a few stats. Obviously, 9 years of service, 353 games, 3 FA Cup wins, but overall 6 cup finals and 3 wins, 3 losses. So obviously the 3 that he lost was 2 like League Cup finals, which one was against Birmingham, which was his era with Chesney back in 2011. The 3-0 against Man City in Wenger's last season, and obviously, of course, the Europa League final. Obviously, with all this, so 6 cup finals, captain, 350 plus games, and 9 years of service. For you now, is that gone? Is that down the drain? Does that mean nothing to you now? Like, because if he left like open arms, clapping, applauding, like never caused this. If he went to the American tour instead of refusing to go, and then spoke behind the scenes, and the club willingly let him go by the end of the window, that would have meant more. Like, would have been like, oh, like fair play, 9 years, the amount of games, amount of cup finals, you stuck with us. Well, now has it now sort of been like, because you've left in this manner, screw what you did. Like, the FA Cups mean nothing now, the captaincy meant nothing, and all these games are now just meaning nothing. Does he mean anything to you at this stage? Like, does he still have a
Yeah,
place?
for
Like,
yeah, for me, like for me, I'm being a bit lenient because no one knows what went on behind the scenes, and I think he could have that right to come back, but I think
would you have him back?
in the manner that he left, and especially the video, to be perfectly honest with you, no, because I think the video that wasn't needed. He had a chance
Yeah.
to make clear things up. He could have been honest, but instead of to like essentially disrespect the club because it's not, yeah, as you said, it's not Barcelona or Real Madrid or any big club underneath that Arsenal jersey. It's Bordeaux.
With all due
That's
respect to
outright.
Bordeaux, by the way, like, all due respect, like, no, like, cussing Bordeaux. It's just like he's not going to the highest quality of football. Like,
Yeah, yeah, but it's just
so
it is what it is. And
yeah, it is what it is. But even if you come out and like, look, guys, I've done wrong. I apologize. I apologize to fans, whatnot. Is there any way that I can do a coaching role, whatnot? You'd say no. Like, you'd be like, sorry, Lolo, like, you did the wrong thing. No, maybe in a few years. Like, is that the
yeah,
sort of route you would go?
yeah, more than likely because I think when you have the chance, and I think when you miss that chance, that's the legacy that you're going to define for yourself. So I think for him, and it's not like, oh, it's a minute chance. So, like any player could have missed that opportunity. No, it's a big. You can do anything. You have a big. You have a. You've left in the manner that of pretty much separating the whole fan base. You have a chance to fix that, and the fact that he didn't fix that, he doesn't deserve to come back.
Fair enough. Like, I totally agree with what you said. Um, Obviously, for me personally, growing up, he will hold a place in my heart. No doubt about that, he will, because he is the best centre half we've had in the Emirates era. Totally. Like, the best centre back
Yeah,
before him was probably the last best centre back we had before him was Sol Campbell. Then after that, Colo Torre. But ever since
yeah,
then, he has been the sort of best one out of the lot. Yes, he's had his ups, his downs. He's won the cups. He's lost the cups. It is what it is. He should have had more honours. Clearly, as you said, there was something that happened behind closed doors with him and the club. There's rumours of obviously in the old regime, he was promised that they terminate the last year of his contract so he can leave. But then, as we keep saying, this is a new Arsenal and a new era, so he can't expect something that happened back then that he agreed when he signed the
yeah,
contract to happen now. Um, and who knows? At the end of the day, like, the only thing I will say about Boss, or Koscielny now I should call him, is the fact that the way in which he left the video, to me, it is disrespectful because obviously he's taking off the Arsenal shirt and sort of like throwing it to the side. Obviously, yes, some people will look at it like he's saying it's his new chapter, but it's still kind of disrespectful, especially when he knows that everything's
mm,
not so well at the club. But he put out a message, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically just brushed off the whole Arsenal thing. It's not like it's affected him. It's not like he was, saying that he loves the club and he's going to miss it and whatnot. He just basically said thank you to Arsenal, and that was it. While you look at someone like Iwobi, which is how I did my whole transition, is the whole from one player who left saying how much he loved and he's going to miss the club to someone who you would have thought would have said, yeah, I'm going to love and miss this club, to basically just be like, no, my time at this club's over, see you later, type
yeah,
thing. It's just kind of like, that's why I can see why some Arsenal fans are hurt on it. I'm hurt. I never expected it of him. And Obviously, I wish him all the best. I don't wish him the worst. I don't want him to get injured because obviously he had a long time out with the Achilles thing. I don't want him to like end up retiring through injuries or having the worst season. I wish him all the best, but hopefully one day he can come out and try and explain himself, try and mend something. But at this point, as you said, if you come back looking for a job, it's kind of like, nah, not for now. Like, we'll see down the road.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's
I don't know.
it could have been it can be a time it heals over time, but like
Yeah,
it could have been solved there and then. He decided not to do that, so there is no way in hell, for at least for the next 10, 15 years, all is not forgiven. So it's like, unless he wants to do anything in that time, then that's up to him. But if it, but obviously in the mind of him, we don't know. He might not have liked Arsenal in the first place. He played because he liked Wenger or something.
right. Let's
That might have been.
like that is a completely different conversation. Like, I think he did care for the club, but we're not going to go down that road for now. Like, maybe if he ever does come out with anything, we'll discuss it on the podcast and be like, yeah, but Koscielny said this, like, da 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 da. But
Yeah.
let's just move into a more positive note now. Let's move into overall. What would you rate the transfer window out of 10? Like, based on the ingoings and outgoings. Obviously, I'll do players individually in a minute, but overall as a window, because at the start of the window we were quite negative and quite down for the majority of the transfer window, and it seemed like we weren't going to sign anyone, and that would have been like a 0, especially if there was no outgoings.
Yeah.
But now after the window, what do you make of it? Like, do you think how much out of 10? Like, what would you rate it?
I would probably give it a solid. I'd probably say 7.5, close to an 8.
Okay.
I'll probably give it an 8. I think we definitely. I think it's actually it might be a good question because obviously, whilst we got the players that we needed, we essentially got uh, uh 2 brand new wingers, in Pepe and Martinelli. One for making an impact now, one for the future. That will more than likely, because I can see that future lineup, Nelson, Saka, Smith Rowe, and then Martinelli. That's 4 in itself. When was the last time we had 4 brilliant like upcoming players that look like they could be in contention in first team, like and playing day in day out
I could tell you
every
when, but
week.
it's going to make me shed a tear and it's going to make us angry because it mentions like 2 snakes and a guy that me and you love, but you know. No, but anyway, continue with what you're saying.
No, but yeah, well, obviously we got those two. Obviously we got those Pepe and Martinelli, both brilliant signings. But as for me, the question, obviously, we replaced Rambo-ish with Ceballos, but the big like I'm slightly doubtful because now it's only a loan. We whilst we got obviously someone in for now, and that I think that's needed and probably to help us achieve um uh Champions League football. It's also what are we doing for the future? I think that's a little bit on the back of my mind because obviously yes we got Joe Willock. I'm not like ignoring him, but even still, what happens
All
when
right.
Ceballos leaves? Are we gonna bring in like a 24-year-old that's gonna firmly establish himself as like the new Rambo? Or are
Yeah.
we gonna stick with Willock in that position?
I
Because we
Struggle on.
so go on.
No, go on, go on.
Oh, I don't know, but like I think yeah, I just think that that position is still too open because Ozil's after this year, this is not his final year of contract. It's
No, next
Next
season.
year is his final.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Next season is final year of contract, and obviously, um, depending on if we, which will more than likely is going to be the scenario, his contract is going to expire, and then by that point we're going to have a new cam center attacking midfielder, and then once. So who's gonna take up that position? Is Willock gonna be first team? Because I'd rather see Willock first team rather than like a Lo Celso kind of player come in and then say I'm gonna no, we're not getting Lo Celso. I'm just using him as an example
No, I'm not
because
saying that.
James
I just like your
Rodriguez
little
is out of
dig
the
at.
picture.
I like your little dig at Spurs. No, no, no. But
Are we gonna
I.
get Lo Celso and get a flop, or are we
All
gonna
right.
stick with like a 10 times better player that Musa Sissoko is, or something like
Obviously,
that? I don't know.
o- obviously, we cannot read too far down the line because obviously, of course, as well, this season will define whether or not we're gonna sign Emery onto a new contract or not. Like, if people don't know, he signed a 2-year deal with an option of a third. So obviously, this is his second year. Next year is an option, but that's for the club to choose, not him. And whatnot. So at the moment, his future's
Mm.
up in the air whether or not if we get Champions League football. But on top of that,
Mm.
you know, as you said about Capellos or Danny, however you want to say it, and everything, with him, there has to be something in place with Madrid. At the moment, nothing has been reported where we get an option or an obligation or something. I keep hearing different rumours that there is an option to buy, but it hasn't been specified. I've heard other options where if we play 30 games, then they will talk to us about possibly selling him and something. Kind of like the Ospina deal last season with Napoli. If they
Yeah.
played him for 28 games, then they could get him for a cut price. But then I've also heard rumours of he will go back to Madrid after this season, but in the future, if they want to sell him, there's a deal in place where they will talk to Arsenal first, kind of like a buyback clause type system where they will contact Arsenal first and be like, look, we're selling him and you get the choice. But no one knows whether or not, it's true or not and everything. And it truly depends as well, long term. Obviously, as I said, you can't look too far, but it depends on Emery as well if he's going to be here or not, because he is the sort of player that Emery wants, as you said, the Ramsey driving type. But it truly does depend who the manager is at the time as well, because I was having a discussion earlier, and obviously I'm not going to talk too much about it. I was having a discussion earlier with someone about Chelsea and United and how they chop and change managers and the players don't get time to embed in, and different managers have different ideas, and we just need to
Yeah.
sort of continue this progress, continue this change, and hope that it works out. But overall, as the transfer window as a whole, I'd rate it probably 7.5. I wouldn't push it to an 8. The only way I would push it to an 8 is if we continue to sell the Deadwood in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long the
Yeah.
European window is open. If we can somehow convince someone to come and take a Mustafi or an El Nene, then cool. That pushes it up. That's more finances freed up for different positions and gives more chances for youth players that come in and everything like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if we're going to go through player for player, which is what we're going to do right now, Saliba, out of 10. Because
I think
obviously,
that's
we're not seeing him until next season. He's gone back out on loan. What do you...
yeah. I guess on the basis of that, I was about to say 10, but I'll probably give it a 9, given obviously because he is going back on loan. But
Yeah.
who knows? It might actually be a beneficial thing when we go in to go to next year, whether if Emery stays or not, and whether if we've got Champions League football, I think club might obviously be a little bit more stable than what it was,
Yeah.
because obviously I think if he came, technically, yeah, I imagine if he came this year, we wouldn't have signed David Luiz, and it could have been more of a risk to like
Yeah.
almost chuck him in that position where if we say, oh, if we're, say if Maitland-Niles get injured, Chambers is now on right, and he's centre. It's like there's a lot of pressure on him to sort of like perform there and then, and obviously I think he needs and we're a back line where it's not defensively solid. I think it'll only benefit from him
Yeah.
if he comes in on an established defence the way, and he knows how they and how they want him to play. So I think that
Yeah.
it's a materialized thing. Let it flow instead of chucking him in.
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say I would say it's a 6, Saliba. Not because anything against him, but because he's only played like 5 or 6 Ligue 1 games overall last season for Saint Etienne. Obviously, the talk coming out of France is he's a hot prospect, which is obviously hence why we paid the price, which I think is a positive thing. We're moving like a big club. We're buying young talents or hidden gems, if people want to call them, before the big clubs come in. My only sort of negatives on it is obviously we're not going to see him until next season. Everyone knows about our defensive frailties, which obviously, yes, we've tried to fix with other signings, which we'll get into in a sec. But at the time when we signed him, it was kind of confusing to pay 27 million and then loan him back out. But for the way in which it's worked, I'd call it a 6. Obviously, I can't wait to see him in an Arsenal shirt. Hopefully, like, there's no disrespect to him. Hopefully, he does not get the number 6 shirt, because I want that for Rob Holding or Upamecano or someone, whoever, to take that shirt and everything. But overall, yeah, I'll give him a 6. Can't wait to see him. Obviously, I hope he has a great season at Saint Etienne this season, just to rub it in the faces of any other Spurs fans that they couldn't get him. So, yeah, a 6 from me. Obviously, now we move into Martinelli, who was signed around similar time. And, of course, has played a lot of preseason, has made Eddie Nketiah go out on loan seamlessly because he's come in. I'm guessing Emery's going to be doing what he did with Guendouzi to Martinelli, where he's actually going to be playing him consistently and throughout this season to see how he adapts to the Premier League. So, obviously, how would you rate him out of 10 so far from what you've seen?
From pre-season, I would probably give like a, depending on the transfer fee, I'm gonna give him an 8 for now because obviously no one really knows.
Yeah, it's
What the
disclosed.
fee is. Is it 10? Is it 6? Is it even 1? So I think I'm just gonna say 8 on the basis that it's a good player to bring in
All right.
and to provide youthful competition, because obviously I think because it only take one of those, Saka, Nelson, him and Smith Rowe, for them to be at least proficient goal scorers, or
Yeah.
one of them to be a goal scorer. So I think it's good to have almost that amount of backup to so whenever in the future, if one's scoring the goals and the others are just turning into Iwobies, then we have that.
Yeah.
cover.
Um,
So yeah, what do you think?
I would give him, based off of what I've seen, he looks like he's driven. He looks like he's got that like South American flair, not just in his skill but in his strength. He looks like he can hit someone. Like he looks like he has a bit of a fight with him, which is nice to see. Obviously, be careful with VAR and everything. Like, don't be getting sent off. But he looks like as well he's not scared to shoot and everything, and that's a good thing to see. You saw it against Barcelona. He was having like massive shots and everything, trying to like hit it in and whatnot. So overall, it's an exciting signing. He's young. Obviously, we rarely sign Brazilians. I know it's ironic because we just signed David Luiz, but you know, it's just like out of 10, I'd give him at this point probably a 6 as well. I need to see more of him in obviously the FA Cup or whatnot and Premier League appearances and whatnot. So
Yeah.
we move on to Pepe, who was the third signing. No, it wasn't Pepe. Sorry, it was Danny Cabellos was our third signing. Obviously, we'll move into Pepe in a sec. But I'm trying to do this in order.
It was.
So Danny.
It was. Yeah. Danny. Danny.
Danny
I'll
boy.
probably give
Yeah.
Danny. Yeah. What's it? What do you call it? So yeah, I probably a direct Ramsey replacement, Spanish, so Emery can actually talk to him, and so can many others. What I'm more excited for, I guess, is that link-up play with Bellerin.
Is he Dennis Suarez Mark 2?
Like, no, I don't think he is. No, I actually don't because Dennis didn't actually didn't actually win anything with Spain at Danny's age. So I think he'll actually be a good signing. He's almost like if we were the equivalent, where of like, oh yeah, we're about to sign Danny's like that English under-23 that's just won the under-23s World Cup, and they're saying this individual player Smith Rowe is amazing. We've basically just loaned the best player in that team. So I think like it's a good signing because obviously he's played at Real Madrid and he knows the highest quality that there is. So I think playing alongside with them, I can't imagine that playing from Toni Kroos is can't imagine him playing against him over in the training session is gonna reflect when he plays against, I don't know, like Ndidi or something like that.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be like a direct rival to those like defensive midfielders, and someone that could actually like beat, and obviously someone like Ramsey, pretty much someone that could beat other players. So but that's my view.
So yeah, out of 10, what did you say you're giving? Out of 10?
Oh, I completely forgot about that. I'd probably give him a 7 because it's a loan. That because it is a loan.
Yeah.
I give it a 7.
I completely agree. He looks like the direct Ramsey replacement. If anything, he also looks like the direct Ozil replacement if Emery can somehow offload him in January.
Yeah.
Willock as well was obviously pushing for that cam or maybe central midfield spot. It's exciting times. He looks, as I said, very skillful, very strong. He looks like he's not afraid of a tackle. He looks like, I don't want to compare it because he was phenomenal for us, but Santi, he reminds me so much of Santi, seeing him on the ball, and like, you know,
Yeah.
I know any Spaniard that comes into this club is going to be compared to Santi, but like, but it genuinely excites me.
Dennis Suarez at least.
Oh yeah, there were some fans actually comparing him to Santi, and no, but
Don't know what they're expecting.
overall, with Danny, if we can get him on the permanent, as we discussed a minute ago, if there is a deal in place with Real Madrid, and if he does have a cracker of a season, from what I've seen so far, he could run this midfield for the next like 5 years, and everything. So,
Yeah.
if there is a deal with Madrid, then I'd say it's probably an 8 out of 10. But for now, I'll say a 7 on my front. Because if we improve him and make him good for a year, then he goes back to Madrid and never plays again, we're going to be upset. But if he has a cracker a season, we can somehow strike a deal, then we're happy. So yeah, I'll give Danny a 7. Obviously, my mix-up a minute ago, Pepe. The big boy.
Yeah, Pepper.
The money record-breaking signing. The not Zaha signing. So... the whole entire fucking up Crystal Palace's life signing. So, what'd you give Pepe out of 10, Ali?
I think it has to be a 10, don't it? It has to be. Like, I think for us, it's the first real signing that we've gone and basically just stole another player. We haven't bought another player because the club wasn't really feeling up to him. We legit went to Rennes and we just said, "Can we have Pepe?" And they're like, "Oh, really not too sure. Here's 70 mil. Okay, well." And it's like,
I agree. I think we pushed ourselves to the front of the line because there's so many clubs in
yeah,
for him. Like Napoli were close to an agreement with him. Like they were on personal terms. They agreed a fee with Rennes. I think it was just the agent fee and the personal terms. Man United were in for him. Liverpool
yeah.
were in for him. There was a talk of months ago about Barcelona in for him, and somehow, out of nowhere, little old Arsenal bossed the way to the front of the line and just like boom. So
Here it is. Give us that player.
give us
So
to him. Yeah. So you would say a 10?
I would say a 10, especially like in terms of how he actually negotiated the deal as well, because obviously there's so many add-ons. There's even more than the Tierney initial Tierney 25 million bit. That's when you know we've literally just. I don't know how we managed to do it, because if we probably just said 72 mil, and then we'll give you that 72 mil over the course of 5 years, and it's like, and somewhat stupid enough that that club owner and friends was just like, "Mate, I could buy fives every single 5 years. Every year for 5 years, I could get a hot tub in each of my houses." And it was just like, and I was just like, "All right, yeah, I guess you can."
That's a weird analogy, but you know. Um,
Yeah, it's just or just buy KFC for 5 years straight. Just buy it 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. Comes the 5th year, guys. We still haven't actually replaced Pepe, and we're in debt. We're big with multiple KFC stores, and we're just like, well, just find a new one, ain't it?
God's
Just sell
sake.
Bamba for just sell Bamba for 20 mil, and then I could buy another year worth of KFC.
All right.
Anyway, go on.
Anyway, you went on a bit of a tangent about KFC. You can clearly see what Ali's craving today. Out of 10, I'll give it a 9 because it has really shot us back up in the club list. I'm not going to get overhyped and be like, "Oh, we're back, we're massive and whatnot." Like, no, like it shows our intent. It shows we're
Yeah.
kicking down doors now for players, and you know we bigged him up earlier. I think that's down to like Ralstonelli and whatnot. Like he's got that player power and like that sort of like power to be like, you want a target, cool. Me and Kolasinac are gonna go break him out, type thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give it a 9 on the basis of I'm not gonna pretend that I know him. I've rarely seen him play. All I know is that he had a great season last year for Rennes, second best player in Ligue 1 behind obviously wonder child Mbappe.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him play. Obviously, he came on today, which obviously we'll get into the performance in a minute and whatnot. He came on today only for a little bit, didn't do much. But besides that, I'm really excited to see him tear the Premier League alight, hopefully. You know, hopefully it's not 72 mil wasted. Hopefully, if anything, he can rise and become better. So, yeah, 9 out of 10. Obviously, now we move into the 2 deadline day signings, starting with, of course, the Scottish left back. 25 million, better than Andrew Robertson. Kieran Tierney.
Boy, oh boy, Kieran Tierney. I love that. To be honest with this guy, I really like him because he's so sweet. Like, I don't know if you saw like all the pictures, like all before on his reveal. He literally looks the cutest player to grace that Arsenal backline. Like, credit to him because like I get it. He's like, I'm a Celtic fan. I'm a Celtic boy through and through. And like, I'm not fair play, but to be perfectly honest, dude, Celtic's a long way away to be like worrying about them. And it's like, I don't think that's going to be like, he's not going to be overly distracted if Celtic get relegated. He's not going to be, oh bloody hell, my life is done to shit. So, like, I seriously doubt that would happen. But obviously, you know what I mean. It's just like,
Yeah.
he's a Celtic boy through and through. But like, you can tell he doesn't have like
Yeah.
to say that, oh, I'm a Celtic boy through and through. He would stay there. He wouldn't move to Arsenal. So I don't think it's going to overly affect him. But I think definitely like obviously so many people are just saying, yeah, the new Andy Robertson, and like to be fair to them, he does look like the new Andy Robertson, like wing back. He'll run up,
Yeah.
he'll cross it in, and then he'll just pounce on every single run that comes on his way. But yeah, that's what I think.
So yeah, obviously that's what you think, but out of 10, what do you rate him then? Like,
I would I would give him because of his injury, I'm gonna have to say a 5.
okay,
I'm gonna have to say a 5 because it's not immediate. But I think once he's back in, and depending on how long he'll actually take to like materialize in the team, and I'm sure he's gonna be exceptional. But I think just because it's not, because at this point it kind of feels like almost like a delayed move, like up until January,
yeah,
sort of like we've agreed a fee and everything, but it feels like a January move until he actually gets into that first team. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say a 5.
fair enough.
What do you think out of 10?
Obviously, I agree with what you said about the whole Robertson thing. Like, yeah, I think people do overrate players or whatnot, but at the same time, he deserves the credit that he's done at Celtic, in my opinion. He's done a lot for them. He's won so many
Yeah,
league titles in a row. He's got experience. He's got winning experience. Obviously, he was their captain as well, so he's a leader. But on top of that, we've had areas at left back for years. And it's just nice. I know, as you said, he's not going to be playing for a while, but I think it's nice to finally see that we're sorting that area. It's finally, because we saw it today in today's match, and obviously we'll get into it. But so many times last season and today or whatnot, we just seen that people expose Nacho, and his legs are not with it. And Kolasinac as well. He's not an out and out left back. He can only really play in a wing back form, and it's just nice to see that there. So I agree with you. His rating does get lowered down because he's injured, and it will take him time and development as well, adaptation to the Premier League, let alone with teammates and coming back from his injury. Obviously, I think they're saying he's should be back after international break, which is like 3-4 weeks away, and everything. Like him and Hector as well. But I think once they're both
yeah,
back, we're gonna have a deadly wing back source. Like he can definitely cross the ball. He can definitely pace up and down the wing and everything. So I think him and Hector
yeah,
on both sides. I'm not going to say it's as good as like Trent and Robertson or Carl Walker and whoever City have on the left hand side at this point. I can't remember, but I think we will have one of the
yeah.
best pairings and whatnot. So out of 10, you see, if he was fully fit, I'd give it like a 9 or a 10. But where he's injured, and as you said, we're not going to see him for like a month, so it does feel like a delayed move. I'm probably going to have to give him probably a 7, in my opinion.
So, uh,
Now we
yeah.
move on to the last. Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just sorry for the apologies. It started raining
Oh no,
literally
that's
just
fine.
with the
That's fine. No.
the first Newcastle rain has just come down.
Oh
So
yeah, the
yeah.
tears, the tears. Yeah, as I was saying, we move on to the last deadline day signing, which was of course the weirdest one to come out of this window and out of nowhere. David Luiz, 8 million. Sideshow Bob himself at the Emirates.
Well, we've got Sideshow Bob squared now, so yeah, with Guendouzi. So
Mate,
so
like
it's gonna be a deadly pairing.
David Luiz is gonna hack someone out, and Guendouzi is gonna get sent off. I can tell.
I'm already seeing the headlines. Kieran Gibbs mistakes Oxlade Chamberlain for Theo Walcott.
No, yeah.
So
David Luiz,
uh,
out of 10.
I think it's the centre back that we need, but not the one we want. So obviously, I think definitely with the signings that we set out this summer, I think it's definitely evident that we were, from the moment that the board said we were looking to bring players in that can actually improve the team. That was evident. I think
Is he better
with
than what we
signing
had?
more than anything. I'd probably say yeah. Being honest, yeah, because at the end of the day, where technically he's a direct replacement from Koscielny. And if I was to say who's better of the two, and who is technically still in their prime because he's not so reliant on his physicality, I'd probably say David Luiz would be the better centre back.
He suits Emery's system more as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously we saw so much last year, three back. If there's one player that is good on a three back, it's David Luiz. I mean, that's how Conte pretty much won the league.
Yeah.
And got to an FA Cup final. But unfortunately for him, Rob Holding was better at that three back than David Luiz was, surprisingly, even though he played it all last season. I'm not judging.
All right. You heard it here first. David Luiz and Rob Holding, the ultimate partnership. We're gonna win the league, lads. No, but for you, what does David Luiz bring?
David Luiz brings the title winning mentality that we actually need. Whether debatable whether actually Czech brought it in the first place, from what I can tell, no, because Leicester, like that in itself, that's that year, that was meant to be his year to get everyone in shape, guys. Don't worry, as long as you keep a calm head.
Is this Agent Czech Mark II? Is this Chelsea spy in Arsenal colours to destroy Arsenal Mark II? Or do you think David Luiz is genuinely here to win things and genuinely here to bring us back to the Champions League and ultimately set us up for the future to push for what we all want, the title, the Champions League, these trophies that go back in our beautiful, beautiful stadium? Like,
I think it was evident. I think in particular, especially last year, actually. Obviously, Chelsea statistically were the only team close enough to Liverpool and City, of course. So I think by getting in essentially a starter in that defence and someone that actually could that at the beginning of Sarri, obviously he went on that an unbeaten where he won like 5 games in a row in his first 5 games. He's part of it. He's part of that. He's part of that defense. And you can't say, oh yeah, we're getting a Christian.
you want to say Eriksen?
Was part of that. No, I wasn't going to say Chris. Why would I want an outdated? No.
All right. No, yeah, we're not getting a Christiansen. We're not getting a Rudiger. We're not getting a Kurt Zouma. We're getting David Luiz.
Yeah, we're getting David Luiz, who's obviously the leader of that defense, and it was
4-0.
That
Yeah.
6 and 1 second. Yeah, no, but like, we're obviously getting someone who was part of that defense, and obviously who was the organizer in that team, and obviously he's matured enough to be a part of that. And I think, I think overall it was a good signing. He's playing out from the back. That's what Emery wants. That's what and if we were playing the same exact system out of the back with at the beginning of last year with David Luiz, I can imagine it would have made things a lot smoother. Provided that we started Leno. But
so out of 10. For 8 million as well.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Given how obviously Harry Maguire a couple of days ago, they could have just said no, 40. So I think I'd probably say a solid 7.
He's a good player. If we've got him on a 2-year deal, he's a good player for 1 year to be in the first team, then second year sort of be a bit plot player. Like out of 10,
so I think.
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna back him in an Arsenal shirt. I really am, But for years I slated him, and for years I hated him, and you know,
Mm.
I'm not going to become one of these Arsenal fans where it's like start chanting at Chelsea fans like, oh, he's one of our own and whatnot. Because no, like when he retires, he'll be a Chelsea legend. Same thing with Petr Cech. But it's just, for
Yeah.
years he mocked Arsenal, David Luiz, and yes, that's part of football. He'll mock a club or whatnot, but he ripped us apart and he mocked us publicly and whatnot and everything like that. And on the pitch, he mugged us. And part of me is like, I don't know if he'll truly 100% give it for Arsenal, but he is better than what we had. He is up to the standards of the Premier League, as you said, winning mentality, everything like that. So out of 10, I probably agree with you, a 7. So it's all about obviously the future, and as I said, we can't look too far to new signings, but obviously we'll quickly run through the outgoings, rate them out of 10, what we think of them. Like, obviously, we've discussed Iwobi and Boss, so we can just rate them quickly. So, Iwobi, losing him out of 10. Obviously, 10 being good, 0 being bad. Would you rate that?
I'd probably give it 5, only because it wasn't Mkhitaryan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably give it a 5. What would you think?
For the quality of player we're losing, for the fact that he can't score goals seamlessly, which is no offence to him. But the thing on top of that, the positive that you need to take away is that we've just basically milked Everton of 70 million over a few years for Theo Walcott and Alex Iwobi. So it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I probably agree, a 5.
Yeah, for sure.
If he ends up being a world beater, we're gonna kick ourselves and just be like fuck. But if he flops, then it's kind of like, see, this is why we sold him. So a 5.
Yeah.
Koscielny for you.
Um, Now thinking about it, given that he was very much deteriorating at the end of last year, and obviously, I'm gonna judge it from when it was first sold and when we sold David Luiz. So I'll probably say when we first sold him and how bad of a transfer it was. I'll probably say I'll probably say like a 2. It's not. It's really not good that we're letting go of that of an asset like that, but to then bring in David Luiz, I would probably say like an 8, a 9,
Yeah.
because inevitably we've got a better player from it. So
Yeah,
I'll probably give
because
it about. I'll probably rate on those 2 terms.
all right, because you need to think that Koscielny money probably got straight use for David Luiz. Like, yes, it was a few
Yeah.
million short, but they probably just immediately reinvested that like 5 million we got for Koscielny into the David Luiz deal. If not, that's what helped get the Tierney deal over over the line and everything. But
Yeah.
as you said, with the experience and the knowledge that Lolo had, it's not good. But on the fact that we actually got money for him and acted like a big club and got money for him, and we've replaced him with David Luiz, probably a 7 or an 8. Like an 8, I'd say. Obviously, we move into the 2 players that left for free. Danny Welbeck first, being
Yeah.
obviously contract expired. It's gone to Watford on a free. Would we have needed someone like him in the squad at the moment? Someone to bring off the bench, or do you think Martinelli and the youth now are going to cover that? So Welbeck's not that big of a loss, or
I think we have so much cover. I think if we were gonna bring Welbeck on now, it would have to be for a striker role. But even still, people can cover that for position. Martinelli, he's actually like had I think from his previous club, he's actually had like very limited experience as a striker, kind of like almost like a forward like Hazard is. Sort of
yeah,
thing. When you play him up front, kind of that advanced forward we bring. He's good at holding up the ball, but he's like almost like an Aguero,
just floats.
essentially. They're like the modern day Aguero. Yeah, he'll float and like be that sort of force nine Messi kind of player.
Can we
But
call Eddie
I
back from
think
loan? Or no? Is that a season long without the option, or do you not know? Because if you
I
don't know, it's fine. Like I'm just sitting there thinking, if we did need Eddie, we can call him back. I don't know, but obviously, if Welbeck was here, then we wouldn't need to call him back. But
yeah, I would probably say no
all right,
because obviously that deal at the time with Eddie clearly uh Emery knows the manager of Leeds, and obviously I think to then to because obviously the Leeds manager is going to play almost like a very similar way that Emery does. It would make sense for them to loan out, and obviously to stop that loan, you might have a reaction where Coquelin comes back and he's essentially annoyed because of that the team that it was playing for.
yeah,
The
you stop his
system.
development and learning.
Yeah, but obviously, inevitably, Coquelin kind of ish turn out for like a half season. The next was like okay. Obviously, the next after that he left, so it was like
Yeah,
I think overall, if there is a loan back, I imagine that Arsenal won't Emery
yeah.
won't pull it off
So
because it
obviously,
would just
yeah, yeah. Sorry, on.
yeah. No, because obviously it will just halt development, and when you're a
Yeah,
striker at that age, you need that development. You
yeah.
can't get away with it.
So obviously we're kind of doing two in one. I didn't mean to mix Nketiah in there. I was just genuinely curious, and that kind of just came to mind. But obviously, Eddie's loan. What would you rate that out of
Yeah.
10? Obviously, the whole Welbeck. Like, is that good that we got him off the bill, or do you wish we kept him around? Type thing. Like, rate that.
Uh, I'll probably for a while back. I'll probably say like a. I'll probably say like a six.
Yeah,
Um, it was it's he's still a good player, but I think like it needed to be done
yeah.
in order for everything else to flow naturally. So yeah, I'll probably say a six. What do you think?
For Danny, I think it's a 7. I think it's a good move for him. He gets to stay in London. As you said, he wasn't going to play. Um, that was evident last
Yeah.
season. He wasn't going to play. Obviously, he did last season for a little bit as sub appearances, but as first team, he needs to be breaking into a first team, and I can see that happening at Watford. Yes, Troy Deeney's their main guy, but if he
Mm.
was to get an injury, I could see Danny going up front. On the wing as well, if Saul or whatever his name is that they signed struggles to adapt, that Danny can play wing and everything. I think he'll do pretty
Mm.
well, Watford, and obviously, as any player that leaves this club, I wish him the best. Um, so
Fair play, yeah.
obviously going on to Eddie, the loan move. Obviously, you sounded pretty happy
Mm.
there that he's gone to lead someone that Emery knows the adaptation. So I'm guessing that's going to be a sort of positive note, like rating for you, that he's gone on that front.
Yeah, I'll probably say on the basis that I actually wanted him to stay, I'll probably give him like a seven because
Yeah,
obviously, but I think from overall, because technically it's a tier down, you can he can be the next Tammy Abraham and start next year. The same Tammy Abraham has done for Chelsea, and I think that's more than anything that I'll be happy with.
yeah,
If he nails this year and really plays, with his heart out, for that manager, and it almost and when it will come into back into Arsenal, he'll realise this side is 10 times better.
this is a
I like
level, different level. Yeah,
th- this is a different level. I can get more service. It's gonna flow a lot more easy and a lot more naturally to get into that system. So I think so. Yeah, I'll probably give it a seven. What do you think?
For the
Eddie?
experience and the development that he's going to get, I think it will be an 8. For the factor of I didn't want him to go, I didn't want him to go. I wanted him to be around the first team. He looked sharp in pre-season, but obviously, as I said to you, I think Emery's looking at Martinelli and looking at Guendouzi type thing with Martinelli, where he's going to be playing him, so he didn't want to stick Eddie in the stands or the bench and waste a year. I think, obviously, as you said, I never knew about the connection with the Leeds manager, with Emery. But obviously, if that's true and everything, then, Emery might be like, look, Aubameyang's aging. Uber's got like 2 years left on his contract currently, or a year and 18 months, I don't know. But he may be sitting there going like, if Eddie can learn from a guy that I trust and know, then when Uber needs to go, Eddie can be number 2 to Laka. He can be the new sort of like, say like, I'm not comparing them, no way in chance, and no one take this the wrong way, but look at City, Aguero comes off, Jesus comes on. So, in a few years' time when Uber goes or whatnot, Laka comes off, Eddie comes on, and everything. Like, it is exciting for the future, but yeah, for the experience and everything that he's going to learn, because Leeds are a massive club, and that's a lot of pressure on his shoulders for him to take this season. It's an 8 for me. Obviously, wish him the best and hope he can smash it in the Championship. But obviously, sad one now. Aaron Ramsey, Welsh wizard.
0. I don't think you need to know why, but but we could go on to it if we really want to.
No, it's fine. 0. It's 0. Yeah, it's 0. Losing someone like him on a free, it was terrible. It was the old regime. It's just the experience and everything you lost. Sort of, you feel like in a way he may be wasted at Juve. You never know. But we wish him the best. Me and Ali love Rambo to pieces. And, Aaron, I know you're never going to watch this, mate, but we love you. You're always welcome back. Like, have a good one. Like, seriously, enjoy your time. Obviously, Chet retired, which, thank fuck, 10. In my opinion. Don't know about you.
I'm agreeing.
Then
that's still a long conversation.
Then obviously these are just going to be quick ones because we never saw him play for Arsenal. So like Christian Bielek, I think that's a 10. We got a couple million for him for a guy that's never played.
10 mil, I think. Yeah, it went to Derby, didn't it?
Yeah, went to Derby. So obviously, what do you rate that out of 10? Was I said 10? Like, I don't know what you say.
Yeah, I'd probably say 10 as well because, like, obviously they said, I know a couple of fans were like, well, we need a centre back. It's like a potential centre back that can materialise a defensive midfielder, maybe. But, like, overall, if you actually look on it, do we need a defensive midfielder? Because we've essentially already got 2 for the future. We've got Guendouzi and Torreira.
Well, Chambers can play there as well.
Playing in the Chambers as well. So, like, that's 3 already capable of playing that kind of role. If you're going to somehow slap Bielik in, and people are going to expect that he's going to play, the only person he's going to rival is Xhaka, and we already know Xhaka's one of a kind in the way that he passes.
Yeah,
it's just like maybe Guendouzi could be the next Xhaka. I hope not, because I want him to be better than Xhaka, but I can hope that he might be in like the next Fernandinho or something. But for Bielik to come into that first team, I mean, you've seen like not happening, and to get like as you said, to get I think the report for you was like 10 million.
10 million, I think, yeah, something like that.
So we're selling a half of Torreira, and in my opinion, that's an absolute bargain because not bargain. That's a I'm trying to. I mean, what's the opposite of a bargain? That's
it's good money for someone who's never played.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a 10 out of 10 on that one. Obviously, Asano, never saw him play, never scored a goal last season while on loan. We got $1 million for him, and I think we got an option of another $1 million if they do some crap or something at his club. I don't know. Like, never saw him play. Obviously, the only time I saw him was in FIFA career mode, and I just released him from the club, to be honest. But obviously, yeah, $1 million for him. That's good. 10, I guess, gets him off the wage bill. Carl Jenkinson.
Yeah.
That's the other one that I forgot about. But obviously, sorry, Asano first. What would you say out of 10 for Asano? Just a 10?
Asano, yeah, I guess so. 10, yeah.
Jenko.
Just get him off the books.
Yeah, Jenko. 5 million, wasn't it? to Nottingham Forest or something. 2 million, 5 million, something like that.
I think it was two.
In the
I
end.
think it was two. I
Yeah,
think it was like 2.4. Like,
yeah, 2.4 or something.
Yeah. Um, I. It's actually a difficult one. Weirdly enough, I don't think it. I would. I don't think it'd be a difficult one. I'm only saying it's a difficult one because of like our right back situation. Um,
But is he good enough to play
like
Emery's
obviously,
system?
no, clearly not. So I think he's another. For Emery, it was like a Guardiola Sanya situation. He might be a good right back for like West Ham. When they had him for that loan move. If you remember,
Yeah,
I think it was that year of Dimitri Payet,
yeah.
and he actually played. To be fair to him,
And
not
then he got injured.
half bad. Yeah, and got injured, came back, did another loan move out to Birmingham, and
Got
then
injured.
and then it was just like got injured. It's Jenkinson again, and they're like, no, it's just obvious. I think it's just one to get off the cards, but I guess I can either bite my words saying it's the it's a 10 out of 10 transfer, but what happens if Maitland-Niles get injured, which was an injury scare today in
Yeah.
Newcastle, and what happens
We're going to end up
if,
with Chambers at
if
right back.
Chambers, or yeah, not even. I would prefer, me personally, I would prefer Chambers to be at right back rather than obviously to have no right back. But
Yeah.
even still, but what do you do if Chambers to get injured? We've got no right back. We're covered by two. We're covered by two players, and those two players are already already on the starting 11.
Well, the only other one is Mustafi.
Mustafi, and it's just like, no.
No.
We're not
Obviously,
gonna consider. We prefer not to consider Mustafi because we were trying to get him off our books. So
yeah.
it's like,
No, yeah. Obviously,
what,
overall, I'll rate it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 in the factor of it's good. It finally got him off the wage bills, everything like that. Like, we've known for years he's not good enough and everything. The only reason why I don't rate it a 10 out of 10 is because of two reasons. One, the sentimental value, because we saw his post afterwards. He was basically saying he's sitting back in the stands now. He's a fan and everything. We all know he's a lifelong Arsenal fan. But he basically admitted it in his post as well. Like, he knows he needs to move on and everything like that. So on one part, I'll rate it 9 out of 10 because of that. Because that 1 point is kind of sad. But at the same time, as you said, the only reason why I don't rate it 10 is because one part of me, that 1%, is genuinely like, what do we do if Hector gets pushed back by 6 months and Maitland-Niles gets injured? Like, what do we do? Because we haven't addressed that area. That is obviously future talk for future transfer windows of what we need is cover for a right back and everything. So for Jenkinson, 9 out of 10. But besides that, obviously, the only other moves that happened were like the really young like youngsters that we sold for a meal or something, which I can't remember their names and where they went. So sorry, no offense to you lot, but either way, money's money, so that's good. It's just obviously don't become the next Gnabry, please. Like,
pretty much. Obviously, it was that player that moved to Hamburg, wasn't it? I can't remember his name, but obviously, I'm thinking next Gnabry. Hope not. And obviously, I think one more with Dominic Thompson.
Yeah, that's the other guy. Went Brentford.
Went for like a mil, and the fact that it was a mil makes me slightly nervous, knowing that.
I think we've got a percentage though. I think we got a percentage. I don't know, like add-on clause. I don't know. I don't know where Brentford play. I think they are Championship. If they're League One, I don't know. But either way, money's money. That's going to help us for stuff down the line and everything like that. So overall, I forgot what we rated the transfer window out of 10, but it's been a good window. Obviously, hopefully January or next summer we can address the rest of it. But for now, we're going to move on to what we keep talking about and keep saying we'll talk about it later on. Today's match against Newcastle United. 1-0 to the Gunners, courtesy of a goal of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Basically doing what you do to me all the time on FIFA, just doing a little dinky-dink. over the keeper. Like, taking the piss, really.
That
Um,
was only FIFA 17, 18, and like it's yes.
Obviously, we'll run
So like
through.
no.
We'll run through the 1 to 11 real quick. In goal was Leno, right back was Niles, centre backs was Chambers and Socrates, left back Nacho Monreal, midfield was Guendouzi Xhaka. The front three who sat in front was Mkhitaryan, Willock, Nelson, and up front was Pierre. So obviously overall, Ali, what was your thoughts on this match? Great win for us for starting the game, start of the season, an away win, a clean sheet. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I think we actually played pretty good, to be honest. I think we were we were a bit slow to begin with. Like overall, um, sort of like Uber. It looked like Uber was struggling to get in the match, but it might have just been a lack of chances. Um, so I think overall, I think as we got ourselves into the game, as we got used to England being rain. Obviously, from the back of Barcelona, boy, you can imagine how hot that must have been to
Yeah,
like
all the
pretty
sunny
much
places we've been
play.
on pre-season to come back to doom and gloom rain. It's not really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. It must be a positional change, like just in that itself. But I think, yeah, but obviously it didn't seem to affect the players a whole lot, and I think um, so. Obviously, go into half time, and where we were a little bit like nervous. We could have done better defensively. I think that Joel Litton chance that he had that or John Joe Shelby's like hitting the post, and obviously Joel like weaving in like three different players, and it was like, "Ooh, I don't want to have flashbacks of Roberto Firmino last year where he had
Yeah,
three different deflections and then he's literally one on one with the keeper." So I think, but overall that only happened like a couple of times. We only looked shaky a couple of times, so I don't think. And obviously, given that Newcastle, technically, by the looks of it, they're looking to separate themselves from um, 33% possession, average possession in last year to like be a little bit more assertive. It could have been worse. And my Mike seems to be playing Battlestar Galactica
no, it's fine.
itself.
Um, so yeah,
But yeah,
overall, like,
I, overall, I think, like performance-wise, out of 10, I'd probably say like give ourselves a solid 7.
all right,
Was good enough. Like we were defensively sound. Uber was sharp in the second half. Mkhitaryan was Mkhitaryan. Willock looked really
yeah, we'll
good.
get onto that in a
Came back on
sec.
the defense.
Um,
Came back on the defense. Reece looked promising, and I think yeah, overall it was like a good performance. It wasn't nothing too special, but it was good.
yeah, it was a great opening day performance for us, and totally was what we really needed the kickoff the season. Last season we started our first two games with two losses. Season before that I think we lost our opener or whatnot. So it's nice to actually be off to a winning start positively and everything. And everyone needs to remember as well. Although the football weren't great today, we got a clean sheet away from home. We won away from home, which we only did like a few times last season. And then on top of that,
Yeah.
this isn't even our full 11. Everyone remember that. We're a month away from actually having our back line, players being bedded in, and I'm not saying it's going to be like superstar football when everyone's back, but as soon as the players are back in their right positions and people adapt like Pepe and whatnot and they're in the starting 11, it's going to be a lot more better. But overall, yeah, it was a game
Yeah.
of two halves. It was typical Arsenal, first half shaky, scared. Nacho got caught out a few times for me, and I didn't like it. Xhaka was doing misway passes like usual. Mkhitaryan, we'll do player ratings in a second, but oh my god, seriously, no. But besides that, it was a great, great interception from Niles for the goal. It reminded me of Bellerin against Bayern Munich. I know it's completely different opponents, but it was reminded me of Bellerin. against Bayern Munich when he caught it and chipped it in, and then like Ozil ended up scoring and everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I remember that.
it was really quick from defense to attack. Obviously, it was nice to see a few of the new boys come on. But overall, yeah, out of 10, what did you give it? You gave it a
I probably
seven
I was
or an eight?
7.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
give it
7.
on the basis first game of the season, first win, away win, clean sheet. I'd give it an eight. Like I think it was good.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll quickly go through the 1 to 11 now as well, like score room. So obviously, start off with Leno. Like
Yeah, I probably Leno was actually fantastic throughout the entire game. I
didn't
think
have much to do,
it was
to be honest.
no, yeah, true, but I think where because obviously it's just overall athleticism, even for the John Joe Shelby shot where I think he parried it onto the post.
Yeah, he
Not too
switched
sure
on.
whether yeah, I'm not too sure whether he actually hit the post and then hit him or if like I didn't see the contact. I just knew that some people are saying he got a touch on it,
Yeah,
and like that's what you hope to see. You don't hope to see Giorgio Shelby hitting the post and then Leno a couple of meters behind it already and making and not doing anything about it. But by the looks of it, he was dynamic from and he was obviously keeping on his toes. And when we needed to be calm, he was calm.
out of 10.
So, so I'd probably I give him an 8, 8, 9. But like, I'd probably give him a 9 because he was actually good at playing out from the back and actually knowing when to get it clear and knowing when to play it short. So I give him a 9.
Yeah,
What
I,
do you think?
I totally agree. About a 9, had nothing really to do when he was to be called upon. He completely dealt with it. I think the defenders in front of him had a fantastic game, which we'll talk about in a minute, hence why he had nothing to do. But besides that, Leno was Leno. Leno's
Yeah.
exactly what I remember from last season. It's nice to have a great keeper now in goal and everything. So it's just about getting
Yeah.
this defence sorted for him, which hopefully we are doing. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Moving into right back, obviously Ainsley still filling in for Hector, who's out for a month still. Bit of a game of two halves, in my opinion, for Niles today. Took him about 20 minutes to get into a game. He was kind of out of
Yeah.
place at times, but
I would agree. I think he looked promising going forward, but I do think just maybe a couple of times he had there was always a player out behind him. But I think overall, I think when he did play, I think in particular, I think he's definitely improved upon when Newcastle on the break, and obviously I think who was it? It was second half, and he was up against Saint Maximin.
oh, the
Maximin.
French kid, yeah,
Yeah, and obviously like commentators were saying, this kid is fast. It was good to see that Maitland-Niles is keeping up with him quite easily by the looks of it. So it was like,
yeah,
so yeah, so it makes up for good athleticism if he can actually brush up on his like tactical knowledge on right back, when to push forward, when to not. I think he could be a really promising he could be a really promising right back. I think even though it's not his position, I don't want him to see in that position. I rather, being perfectly honest, I rather see him in future providing rivalry to Willock in that attacking midfield spot. But I think overall his game today was overall solid. What do you think?
yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Like, I think obviously I'm not getting too carried away. First game of the season, as you said, he kept up to pace with people. He showed his strength at times. At times he did get caught out, but not as much as someone else will talking to me like Nacho or whatnot. I think he was solid. I think he's learnt the position over the summer. Like he's starting to realise this is his like sort of only chance to cement himself in the squad, because once Hector's back, to be honest, Niles will end up being on bench or loan move, to be honest, after this, because, you know, it's not really like he's gonna, as you said, he's not like he's gonna battle out for the midfield or the wing or anything anytime soon, really, unless like, which obviously we don't want to happen, but someone picks up an injury. But
Yeah.
so yeah, overall 7 out of 10. He got the assist, brilliant interception as we spoke about a minute ago. But yeah, 7 out of 10 for him. So who was next to him? Was it Chambers next to him? Yeah, Chambers was next to him on that side. So
Chambers. Yeah.
pretty solid game, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the same.
So it surprised me, bearing in mind he looked kind of flat-footed in some of the preseason games, but then again he started pretty much every single preseason game for us, and it looks like until David Luiz proves himself or Chambers slips up or something, it looks like Chambers is going to be the partnership with Socrates and everything. So obviously, what would you rate him out of 10 for today? Like,
I give him a 7, same as Maitland-Niles, so like, or probably an 8 actually, because of like, because he like, where you think, oh, Chambers is a physicality. I think over the course of the summer, we've seen Chambers is proper beefed out, and he's actually like he's actually able to compete against these Jolatans who are 6'3". So I think overall he was
man's
really
buffed
good
up.
today. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd probably give an 8.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say 8. Like, his aerial presence was brilliant. He really... I know some fans were annoyed with the fact that he was just hoofing it out, but that's schoolboy. When in doubt, kick it out. Like, it's better than trying to play it out and end up losing possession and conceding. Like, he genuinely did well. I think Socrates helped a lot. I think it's another factor maybe of you put a good defender next to a not okay defender and it makes that other defender look good. But at the end of the day, it got us to clean sheet and got us the point. So I think that's the most important thing. So
Yeah,
moving on to Papa.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah. I'll probably rate the same.
Yeah.
Like, just that pairing in defence. It's they understand each other. So I would say like
Yeah.
another good pairing that we seem to have mixed. So yeah, that's what I think. What do you think?
yeah, I'd probably say 7 as well for Papa. It's nice to see VAR didn't immediately get him screwed over for today, because I've been speaking to you all summer about that fear of VAR screwing him over for his strength and his aggression. It really looked like he toned it down today, but we never know if that's genuinely because it's first game of the season or because he actually knows now he can't be karate chopping people on the pitch. So, you know, yeah, 7 out of 10. Oh no, 8 out of 10 matching Chambers. So yeah, like Nacho.
Yeah.
Sort of game of two halves for Nacho. Like
Yeah.
going forward, it looked good, but being exposed again like last season, I had flashbacks of Watford, Everton, Palace. Just sit on Nacho's side and you just wait for him to push up a little bit and you're in. That's the sort of thing. And if Tierney's out for another month or so, then, you know, Spurs, Liverpool, obviously I'm not trying to look too far down the road, Watford in a few weeks' time, pace on that side, if he's switched off like he was, they're going to punish. Like, they're going to end up creating goals because of it. And, you know, that's no doubt on Nacho, but that's because I think his legs are starting to give away. So, you know, what'd you give him? What was your thoughts?
I'd probably say, because it was a game of two halves, I think first half when Almiron,
Oh, the diving mug.
pronounce his name. Yeah, by the lookalike girl, I honestly thought he looked like a girl. Just, and it's not a misogynist term. I'm just saying, his eyebrows, his face, it just shaped like a girl. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
but like, I think once he like, it's that attacking midfielder that I think I would be worried about on his side whenever there's space they would just capitalise. It could be seen as like a tactical ploy, if there's space, Socrates would just push out and Monreal will cover for that centre back, but who's going to cover for that cross? Monreal, he's 5'9". He's going to get bullied by Troy Deeney in a couple of weeks' time if that were to happen. If that would be the case, so I think I'd probably give him a 6 because he played better in the second half. But that's mainly just because we just played better in the second half. We were a lot more dominant. So
Yeah, I'd agree.
yeah, I'll
6.
probably
Yeah.
yeah, because I think that first half performance it could have been better if he just didn't commit almost all at the times that he did. Because I think it must have been like individual because he might have just done it once or twice, but it was just like that once or twice. And when we're up against the big teams, once or twice is enough to be 2-0 up. So I just think that we need to brush up on it,
Yeah.
especially or at least his positioning. Or we need if we come up against the big teams, we're gonna put a 5 back and put Kolasinac, and then that way Socrates, that way you eliminate with the whole overload on one side
Yeah.
scenario. So I think moving forward, if
Guendouzi.
if you could sustain the first half without conceding, then yeah,
Yeah.
it might be.
No, I thought you meant
Gives you a
moving
good
forward,
shot.
like moving on to next player. But
Oh,
no, yeah, Guendouzi, next one. Like, I was surprised he started, in my opinion. Like,
same actually. Yeah,
didn't expect it, but you know that I guess that's down to Torreira only playing 10 minutes of preseason football. So, you know, Guendouzi out of 10.
yeah.
Like,
I give him a 7. He was solid by the looks of it. He gave John Joe Shelby a hard time, just a couple of times, and like when it just coming out, he looked fluent. He looked like almost fresh off the back of last season. Um, sort of like trying to make things happen, get the ball into Willock's feet and Reese's feet. So overall, I would probably say like a 7. That pairing with
yeah,
Xhaka, it's a good one. I think when in future games, obviously how we played against Manchester United last year, when they were all out sort of attack, that pairing where Xhaka and Guendouzi almost just sitting in front, those two defenders with like a block of 4, 2 blocks of 4. Um, it can be that it's actually quite a good effective way of
yeah.
defending, and I think he looks solid in that position. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd rate him exactly the same as you, 7 out of 10. He had a good game. He covered up for a lot of mistakes that the forward players were doing, which obviously we'll get into in a minute. He helped out Xhaka. I think somehow, like from not playing pre-season, he looks like he sort of... Last season he was trying to draw the foul a lot. Like he was trying to make things happen, but trying to draw the foul. But now he looked like today there was 1 or 2 moments where Shelby went in for the foul and he kind of like ooped and skipped away from him and everything. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
he's learned how to like push away from people that try and tackle him, to try and get them out of the game and create space, and that looks good. But obviously, bigger tests coming up. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Obviously, we move on to his partnership next to him, Xhaka. Um,
it's-
it's a weird one. It.
yeah,
I don't want to bash him because we played well, but his first game of the season, obviously I don't want to rip into him too much because there will be errors throughout the season, we know that, but in the first hour or so you saw what was happening last season. It was just passing it to opposition players for no reason. Like I understand you're trying to get the ball out and trying to make things happen, but there's a few times like where he was in the box and he just kicked it straight at a man. It's like if you it's kind of like showing why Chambers kicked the ball out. Like, while Jack is trying to pass it out
yeah.
and trying to get things ticking, he's put the risk of conceding.
Everyone else.
Yeah. So for me, I'd say Xhaka 5 out of 10. Like he needs to improve, and this is a big season for him. especially as well that he's now captain as well. Like,
Yeah, that's a big statement. I think. Well, I'm pretty sure once the season's fully fledged on the way, I'm pretty sure like Luis will be the leader, but whether he'll start every game, that's a different question. But I think, yeah, I'd probably say, yeah, I agree with you on like Jacobin, 5 out of 10. Like you could say, to be honest, I admire him for like at least trying to get things going. It's almost like that Guendouzi spirit, never stop trying at least. And I think you might have the the leniency up against Newcastle to maybe do that, but you can't be doing that against like in a couple of weeks Tottenham or Liverpool, because otherwise it's a goal.
yeah,
If he gives the ball away, that's going to either Salah, Firmino, Mane, Origi. So I think he needs to brush up on it a lot.
it's a
And
big season.
to be honest, I still admire his long balls. I appreciate the Route One tactics. So like I'm a big fan of the Hollywood pass. So I think he can he could be a really good player if he actually doesn't do so if he removes the Mustafi out of him.
So out of 10.
So yeah, I'll probably say the same as you, a 5.
All right.
Um, yeah.
Willock, new boy, fresh. Obviously not new. He's been here for seasons or so, but academy boy coming in, played brilliant in my opinion. He was driving, he was defending. Like definitely gonna have high work rates on FIFA. He's up, he's down.
Yeah.
He's strong. Like I remember his debut was actually against Newcastle a few years ago, and he got thrown off the ball like it was nothing. But now it looks like he's strengthened up and he can hold his own. Like I remember back then, Shelvey was throwing him left, right, and centre, but today Shelvey was almost ripping his bloody shirt off. He couldn't like stop
Yeah.
him. Like unlucky that he couldn't have so many shots in front of goal, but I think he was more trying to just help out the team and try and do passes, unlock things. You saw him at times. Me and you spoke about it off video or whatnot. He was switching with Reece. Reece would cut in. He would go wide. He's trying to keep the width and supply Uber. And yeah, like we've bigged him up this episode, and we've spoken about possible Ozil replacement, possible Ramsey replacement. But yeah, overall in this game, overall in his performance, obviously I think he got burnt out near the end, hence why he had to come off. I think he used so much energy. So overall,
Yeah.
I'd give him 7 out of 10. Like I'm really looking forward to seeing him play this season.
I'll probably say the same. Yeah, and the exact same hopes before the season. I think if it could fit if he could fit that what Uber is looking for in terms of like that shadow striker.
Yeah,
He has really good potential, because like I think inevitably whenever the next time Uber does a back heel, he's going to be there and not on the edge of the box.
Yeah.
So I think he could be a top class player, and someone that Lacazette could look forward to with like a 4-4-1-1
possibly
sort of thing.
possibly could be like a new Fakir for Laka, in a sense. Someone who drifts in
Yeah.
around him, 1-2s, something like that. Like never know. Give him
Yeah.
time. Could be good.
Yeah, real potential.
Now to move on to a more negative one, in my opinion. Henrik Mkhitaryan for today. Like, absolutely dreadful. I'm sorry, we spoke about it earlier and I didn't want to touch on it because I wanted to leave it until now. I'm not going to go too harsh on him. He looked half decent in pre-season, but now he's really showing. He's bloody done out here, in my opinion. Like, we're selling Iwobi, and I understand no one wants to buy Mickey because of the 200 grand a week wages, and Gazidis, you're an idiot for putting him on that money. However, what the hell? Like, I know we didn't lose because of him and I may be overreacting, but you're like 30 years of age and you can't pass a ball 2 yards. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you can ping a ball to Uber, But that's because you know Uber from your time at Dortmund. Besides that, if it's not Uber, you ain't passing the ball. Like,
Yeah, it it does feel like that sometimes. Actually, I was is it reminds me of that. Remember that Uber had that chance, late first half, and then where he was like left side of the goal,
the
and
volley.
he hit it, yeah, the volley, and he hit it straight at Dubravka. Obviously, who supplied that pass, Mkhitaryan, but like, oh, that was a really good pass, like in between the defenders, managed to get it, pinpoint it. Couple of minutes later, and it tries to play out a simple pass to Reece Nelson. That's just on the on the wing. He just completely misplaces it, and it's like you really don't help yourself, do you?
No, you really don't.
It's just like I don't understand. Are you here to screw things up? Or are you here to create chances? So it's like it's just disappointment, and it's actually sad when you actually come to think about it, because he could provide competition. He could provide good competition. But the fact of the matter, he's now in this situation where if he just does more of what he's doing, it's just like an inconsistency. It's just like you're becoming so hard to rely on. You're going to start Pepe every single match, and you're going to be this leftover of a player that once was really good at Dortmund. Now it's just like now you're you now, and it's just like you're not helping yourself.
I totally understand what you
So
mean. Out of 10?
I give him a 5 for a couple of passes that he was playing to Uber, but overall disappointing.
I give him a 3. Like,
Give him a 3.
honestly, like, the only reason why I'm marking that is because, as you said, the passes, but besides that, he was on the pitch. He turned up just to be there on the pitch. That's it. Like, I truly think this is possibly his last half a season, if not full season at Arsenal. Like,
Yeah.
we have to be looking to ship him out and everything. Like, I hope he changes my mind, but I truly think now he can't play in the Premier League. Like, he could never handle it at United. I don't think he can handle it at us. 3 out of 10 for today. So now we move on to a more positive note. Reece.
Reece, yeah.
Had a good game, in my opinion. Sloppy yellow card for trying to make up for his mistake that he did where he gave away the ball. He looked good, looked driving. Obviously cut inside a lot. I wish he stayed a little bit outside and tried like splitting the width. Besides that, skillful. He left someone on their arse in the middle of the park, I remember, on a break.
I know, I saw that as well. I was laughing at that.
But no, yeah, Reece, big season for him now that Alex has gone as well. Massive season. Time to step up to the plate. Show us what you're doing at Hoffenheim in the first couple of games. I think it was Hoffenheim, hope I haven't got that wrong. Show what you're doing in the first couple of games there. Stay consistent, and you'll be pushing Pepe and whatnot for first team places, because, you know, I truly think this guy has a massive ceiling at Arsenal. I don't see him hitting the wall too quick or anything. I think he's genuinely loved as a fan's favourite already, and from the coaching staff and Emery. And today, yeah, I'd rate him probably 7 out of 10. Like, brilliant performance for him for his debut as well in the new season.
Yeah, I think, definitely think he's got a lot of promise. I think he's overall, like, in terms of how he played and how he was linking up, it looked promising. But I guess there were just a couple of things that he could brush up. Like, I think when he was running, it was like a 2-on-4 situation with Uber, and you would think, well, might have been a 3 or 4. I don't know.
Oh, the timing one where he rushed the pass and he could have taken like
Yeah.
a few more touches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might have been. It might just be a confidence issue if in scenarios like that just he might just need a goal, and then he's off and running. He can sell himself. He'll obviously he's got a great relationship with Uber already, more than likely now.
Yeah.
So it's like
I see what you
Uber
mean.
and
I
Apple.
think he's.
So I think
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. I think he's seen the stars already. Like, and he just needs to tone it back a bit and just be like, look, get your goal, get your assist, get stability, get confidence, get consistency, and you're going to be good. Like,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
so yeah, out
yeah.
of
I
10.
think consistency is key. Yeah, but yeah, I'll probably say a 7.
Yeah.
Like it was a good debut. It was a good start at least. I think he's not off on the rails, but I think it's not Mkhitaryan. So I think it's good.
All right. Uber.
Uh,
He ran the width today. He truly made things
He did.
happen. He put his socks in. I was one of the ones who criticised him last season for his work rate, but I think today, start of the season, he was truly trying to show his intentions. Brilliant chances on the volleys and whatnot, and then as we spoke about, he took the mick today with that chip and fully deserved. And yeah, I'd probably say Uber just done what Uber does. So 9 out of 10 for me. Like if anything else, I would have rated him 10 out of 10 if he got another goal, which he should have. So yeah, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'd say the same. Yeah, he's definitely by the looks of it last year. But so I guess towards the end of the season, like he was our attack by the end of it because of like the work rate he was putting. So I think it's only going to get better if he puts that kind of performance in, and when we've got Pepe in the team as well, which
Yeah.
I'm more than likely thinking that he's going to start against Burnley, Pepe,
Oh,
once
he
he's
has
had
to.
a
He needs
few
to get
more
up to
training
speed.
sessions.
Yeah.
And once he's had a few training sessions and once he's match fit, which I imagine can't take too long, he'll start against Burnley.
All right.
Ahead
Let's.
of Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, totally. Let's quickly move through the subs. Obviously, they weren't on for long, so we can't really talk. But ratings out of 10. Obviously, from what you saw, Martinelli. What do you make of him? Look good.
Yeah,
Time
I
waste.
think Martinelli.
Uh,
Yeah, Martinelli. Yeah, I think he looked good. I think it's too little to judge on. So
yeah.
I'll just say like
A
I'd
standard
probably say
5.
like a 6,
Standard 5.
6, 5. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Danny Caballos. When he come on, like he was trying to do some stuff. His first touch was a bad one, which was a back heel, and immediately sent him on the counter. But besides that, he looks good. Like he looked good from that when he come on. So
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I give him a 6 because
yeah,
it was like
6.
he
Yeah,
was he it felt like he knew what he was doing on the pitch. So
yeah, he was trying. So
a
yeah,
6.
a 6, a
Yeah,
6. And then the last one. Who was the last one? I'm trying to think. It was Martinelli.
Pepe.
Pepe, yeah, of course, Pepe. Sorry, 72 million signing. He looked like he wanted to try and do some stuff, and obviously, I don't think he was on that long. In the end, obviously, it
Yeah.
was just a little run out for him. Nice to see the Arsenal fans already have a chant for him. I didn't realise we already had a chant for him. Like Superless Nicholas
I
Pepe.
didn't realize.
Yeah. It's basically like Super Jack Wilshere, but like instead it's like Super Nico, Super Nico, Super Nico Pepe or whatnot. Everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say based off from what I saw, just standard 5 out of 10. Obviously, hope he starts against Burnley and we can get him at the Emirates in the home ground, sort of tearing it up and getting applause and whatnot. Hopefully, can nick his first
Yeah.
goal before Liverpool and Spurs. So, what do you
Yeah.
rate him?
Uh, I give him a 6 because he done Lascelles really, really, really nicely.
So yeah, manager.
Like,
Obviously, Unai. What do you rate him for his selection and tactics and whatnot and subs? What do you rate him today?
I give him, I give him a solid 9. It was a good, yeah. It was a good decision not to start too many startups. I think it was better to get Willock ahead of Caballos. Might have been less pressure because obviously we saw Willock end of last year, so we already had like a mild idea of what he could do. So I think it was Yeah, I'd say a 9 out of the selection. What do you think?
I'd say an 8. Brilliant away performance, great win. Obviously not brilliant performance overall, like brilliant for start of season when we're all rusty and whatnot. Great, nice to get a
Yeah,
clean sheet, an away win. Nice to see Uber off on the mark and everything. His selection, as you said, I fully agree with it and everything. Like not to play too many big guns and too many of the new players. Hopefully next week we can see, like as I just said, Pepe, Lacquer, maybe David Luiz at home. Try and give him a nice little ovation and whatnot. Danny at home, try and get them confidence going and get them going at home, getting them ready for Liverpool and
yeah,
Tottenham and whatnot. But obviously, overall, yeah, an 8. Only just because I agree with the subs. The only sub I didn't agree with is I think maybe he should have taken Xhaka off because I thought Xhaka was going to get sent off because he got a yellow for that stupid foul that he gave away. And then like 2 minutes later, he's already like shoulder barging a guy, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, don't get sent off for any first game of the season. Like, please
yeah,
don't. So if anything, I would have taken Xhaka off, but no. Overall, yeah, it was a brilliant performance. It was a great start to the Premier League for us, especially when all the other big guns have won as well for that top 4 race. Obviously, besides Chelsea, who played United, so of course there's going to be points dropped there. But
mm,
yeah, overall, I think it's a great start, and I think this is gonna wrap us up. Unless you've got something else that you want to talk about or say or whatnot. Um,
no, I think no, that we've already talked a lot, so we can yeah, we've covered majority of everything. I would think
yeah.
unless there's something David Aldersley wants to come in and then say, oh yeah, Arsenal are apparently going in for a move when the transfer is over. So
Yeah,
if that was to happen, then God to be praised, but I don't
yeah.
think so.
All right. Well, summary, guys. Well, we've gone from pre-season all the way to first game of the season. This is basically what we've all wrapped up and summed up here. These episodes will be coming out weekly, as I said at the very start, which is a long time ago now in the video. They will be every week before matches and whatnot. So obviously the next one will be around Thursday before Burnley. It'll be a lot shorter because obviously we had a lot to go through today and whatnot. So obviously it'll be a lot shorter because we're mainly going to be focusing on, obviously, if something happens with the Mesut Klasnat thing, we'll be talking about that, or sounding like predict the lineup for like Burnley or whatnot. Then we'll take it week by week, game by game. So for now,
Yeah.
Ali, thank you for talking with me here today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been good.
it's been a long time coming. Hopefully in the future we can actually have a setup and they can actually see us both on camera. For now it's just a screen saying podcast or discussion or whatnot. But for now, guys, I hope you did enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, most importantly hit that subscribe button. Tell us your predictions for the Premier League season below. Tell us what you think of course, the first game at Newcastle. And yeah, we'll see you guys around Thursday for the discussion before Burnley. So yeah, see you guys around, and peace.